straight, the Orioles will try and extend it to their longest win streak of the season. The Detroit Tigers are in town. It's a 4-game series. The Orioles battling to catch up to the Yankees and to grab a wild card spot. Orioles-Tigers next. It's the Orioles on Masson, and back here in Birdland, a big crowd will be on hand tonight as the Tigers and the Orioles go at it in Game 1 of a 4-game set. The adage in baseball is it's not only who you play, it's when you play them. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome for the Detroit Tigers and the Orioles. The Orioles may be catching them on one of those days, maybe in one of those series, because today the Tigers traded both their number 1 starter and their closer. Both are gone. How will that affect the club? A club that is rebooting, according to their GM. Will they care about winning here, or are they looking ahead already to next year? We're going to find out this weekend. For these two teams, July has been 1 up and 1 down. Here's what it looks like. For the Orioles in July, you see the record that they had on the 1st. They were tied for the lead in the East. They are 10-13 this month. The runs, not a lot, 3.3, but they have pitched extremely well. The Detroit Tigers, July 1, they came in 39-37, 6 games out. Oh my, 10-15 in the month. They're now 4.6 runs per game, pretty good, but that ERA at 5.6, and they've doubled the games they're behind. Jim Palmer, the Orioles hope they catch them in a downer.
Well, you're right, and I'm not sure that's going to happen. I mean, obviously, Price is supposed to pitch Sunday. He won't pitch. We'll see Daniel Norris, who Orioles know about because I saw him twice in spring training. But the one number that jumped out, 4.6 runs in the month of July, and their best hitter, Miguel Cabrera, arguably hitting .350, the best hitter in the American League, is not here, so they can score runs. But the bottom line is they've had 6 quality starts in a row. When we talk about the Orioles, they've won 5 in a row, trying to make it 6, pitch well, and again, when they hit home runs, even last night, 2 solos. The night before, 3-run home run, 2-run home run. Orioles are about home runs. Let's see if they can do it off Simon.
Jim, you've been there before. When you have a day like this where you've traded 2 players who were key to your organization, what do the other players feel like?
Well, I don't think they feel as good as Toronto does.
Yeah.
They get Tulowitzki, now they're getting Price. So, I mean, this is a team, but let's be honest. It's not that the Tigers aren't a good team, because we know they are. I mean, they don't have Scherzer. He's playing for the Nats. Verlander won his first game. Very good yesterday. As you said, Soria is no longer the closer, so they have a lot of holes. They're trying to fill them. But again, I mean, J.D. Martinez, he's 3rd in home runs with 27. Victor Martinez, one of the toughest outs in baseball. Got Kinsler, great leadoff guy. So they are still a formidable ball club. So I don't think you can take them very lightly, and I'm sure the Orioles won't.
And for the Orioles, of course, they're back on a streak. It's been a roller coaster ride, really, for this part of the season up to this date. The Orioles have had great streaks where they put wins together, others where they have struggled. Now they're getting maybe some of the offense going.
Yeah, and I think July was all about 3.3 runs. How did that happen? They just stopped hitting with runners in scoring position. That's still about a week ago. That's changed. Hitting the home runs, pitching well, best defense in baseball. They'll take their chances.
All right, Orioles take the field. We're ready to go. When we come back, we'll open up this series. Tigers and the Orioles coming up. by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by your local Mercedes dealership. A lot of thunderstorms through the area. Some pretty heavy rains today. Our BGE home game time temperature is at 81 degrees. That humidity's still way up there at 73%. BGE Home is Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? Well, the Detroit Tigers, the pitchers are gone, but the lineup remains the same. Kinsler, Iglesias, Cespedes, who may be the next to go. Martinez, the two of them. Castellanos, McCann, Romine, and Raja Davis gets a start. Ian Kinsler this month is hot and always good against the Orioles.
So Miguel Gonzalez, again, on one of those rolls. He's won his last two, one of them against the Tigers, first time he ever beat them. So a lot of fastballs, breaking ball, curveball, slider, change up to splitter, strikeout, ground ball pitch. So again, the ERA has come down. Good news for him. 6 consecutive starts where they've scored 4 or more runs. So when you get that kind of run support, it's been one of the better years for the Orioles to do that behind them. You can see the home runs, 18 of them, 11 solos. And in fact, the game against the Tigers 2 starts ago, first time he's ever faced the Tigers without throwing a home run. And they can hit some home runs. They are number 1 in average, number 1 in on-base percentage. Of course, Miguel Cabrera out of the lineup. So
for Gonzalez, second half of seasons have been his best. Last couple of years, he's gone 11-5 after the All-Star break with an amazing 2.21 ERA. And that is so important for a ball club because generally his starters are going to get obviously worn down a little bit. Season goes along, but he just seems to get better. So the Tigers come in 12.5 games out, and they have, as their GM said, decided to reboot. So it's a ball club that in some ways has waved the white flag. And how that affects the team and their performance, we will see. Kinsler leading it off, 3 for 13 with a home run lifetime off Gonzalez. Orioles put the infield shift on against the right-hander. And the pitch will be taken up and away for a ball. And we are underway. Sun setting. There will be a little sun in right field. That's the only place that will affect the ballpark. Brad Ausmus on the right, their manager. 1-0 delivery to Kinsler. And that will miss down low. Kinsler, of course, has always been a nemesis for the Orioles. Stands at 325 lifetime with 11 home runs in his career against the O's. And he's got a 307 average in this ballpark.
And having one of those good months.
That will catch the outside corner for a strike. Eric Cooper's got the plate tonight. Has tended to favor hitters a little bit in the course of his career. Lance Barksdale, Gary Cederstrom's the crew chief, and Tom Woodring the umpiring crew. 2-1 delivery, a looper that's going to be a base hit. It's not how hard you hit it sometimes, it's where.
Well, again, and also your approach. Take a look at the Orioles defense. Again, the least amount of errors in the American League, Major League Baseball. Reimold, Jones, Davis. That's the outfield. Machado, Hardy, the Gold Glovers. Scope playing like one. Parmalee, who can pick it. And then the second-year player, Caleb Joseph. But you're right. I mean, that's a pretty good slider, except it's not a good slider when you, as with 2 strikes, or actually as with 2-1 pitch, you go the other way.
And he did. So the leadoff man is on. Kinsler at first base. Iglesias up. Iglesias having just a magnificent season for the Detroit Tigers. Kinsler not a big lead. Iglesias will take the first pitch, and it is there for a strike. That .313 batting average, good enough for 6th place in the American League to start the day. He's also the 4th most difficult hitter to strike out, and happens to be the best in average when he's got 2 strikes on him. 0-1 count. Iglesias will take the pitch, and it'll be down low. 1 ball, 1 strike count from Gonzalez.
Yeah, and the ability to cut his swing down, ground ball hitter, infield hits. Last year, of course, he had the leg problem, so missed the entire year, but he just finds holes because he makes contact, and again, he's a spray hitter.
Infield double play depth. Manny Machado even with the bag at third. Throw over will get Kinsler back to the bag. Against the Tigers, Gonzalez has gone 1-2 in his career. High ERA, 7.36 in the 5 career games, 4 of them as a starter. against the Tigers. He does, however, have a win against them. He pitched 5 innings, 2 runs, 6 hits, 3 starts ago against the Tigers in Detroit for the victory. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Kinsler not extending his lead, but goes. Hit and run, slice foul.
Yeah, when you take Miguel Cabrera out of the lineup, you're looking, if you're Brad Osmus, to do things, and what we were talking about. Of course, Reyes just got traded. Aoki, a contact hitter. Ether, a little different. And then Goldschmidt, one of the best players in the National League. So with 2 strikes, the ability to hit home runs, drive in runs, and still have that kind of numbers. That's pretty. Tells you how good Paul Goldschmidt is for the Diamondbacks.
And he's got the 2-strike count here, 1-2. Runner not going. Fouled, caught a piece of his foot apparently on the way by as he'll limp away. And a 1 ball, 2-strike count. Well, David Price was here today, as many baseball fans may know, and then learned of the trade. So the number 1 starter gone, 5th best ERA. Brad Osmus losing him, and then literally just moments ago, the Joakim Soria deal to Pittsburgh, apparently for a minor league player in cash. So a closer, number 1 starter and your closer traded on the same day. They're only short 1, and that'll be in the bullpen. 1 ball, 2-strike throw over.
Yeah, Kinsler not stealing as many bases as on a normal year, 7 out of 12. But all you have to do is look at Jose Iglesias' spray chart, and you look around. 30 hits to left, 33 up the middle, and 31 to right. Now that is using the whole field.
Going to get some hits. Jones really shallow in center, and so is Davis in right. And a check swing, bloop, that's going to go over the dugout and foul. They're working Gonzalez hard. Iglesias.
Yeah, trying to get in, and the count allows you to do that. Yeah, Miguel coming off arguably one of his best starts. Now it's against a Tampa Bay team down in Tampa. Pitchers Park, 14th in runs. A little different offense tonight. But 7 2/3 inning, didn't walk anybody. The Tiger game, they knocked Verlander out, so he had a pretty substantial lead. Only won 5 innings.
And that's going to go the other way for a base hit. And as shallow as Chris was, still couldn't get it. Cannon arm goes to third, not in time, and out. He came off a bag, and there again, throw to second. No, get the runner back. That is what Buck Showalter, Bobby Dickerson have impressed on the infielders. Keep that tag applied. Yeah,
so
he came off.
We see Jonathan Scope does it so well. Same with J.J. Hardy, and I'm sure Brad Osmus is going to say, well, maybe he pushed him off. I don't think that was the case. So the Orioles get a little bit lucky because Chris Davis, this is his legacy all over the place. Just a line drive. Watch the throw, but it doesn't hit the cutoff man. So you're going to have second and third if he stays on the bag. He doesn't. Again, the sustained tag. What do we call it? Tagology? The tagology is just because of replays. There you go, right there. They're just sustain the tag, and the Orioles get the out.
And that's one of the big changes we've seen, not only with the 50% change in calls on the field when there's a challenge, but those kind of plays before instant replay never would have happened.
Yeah, and the one thing about Bobby Dickerson, who's the infield coach, third base coach, and Buck Showalter, they're pretty adamant about that's going to be part of the culture here.
Yeah. Well, it's part of the game now.
Yeah,
right?
Well, you're right. But a lot of people, they just the snap tag and all that. You just have to get it down as quickly as you can, let the ball carry on steals, and then sustain the tag. And sometimes you can get a little bit lucky.
First runner at second base, Joseph going out maybe to make sure here on what the signs are going to be. Signals to be used here. Iglesias, a single, goes down to second on the throw, so that is a huge break for the Orioles. It still puts a runner in scoring position for the Tigers. Two teams who are very good on the year in these situations. Tigers fifth, 271 runners in scoring position. Cespedes, the best in the lineup against Gonzalez. He's got a 5-for-11 lifetime and a 3-game hit streak coming in. Infield is shifted around. Cespedes will take the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. He too is on the trade block and is one of the names repeatedly mentioned, and what a valuable commodity. As Buck Showalter said, It's interesting that the commodity this year in trades, pitching always there, but it's hitters, right-handed power hitters are in demand.
Yeah, and the two guys, I mean, at least right-handed, are Justin Upton of the Padres last year with the Braves, and then Cespedes, who you're looking at right here. I mean, you know what you're getting. You're getting a guy that's a good defensive player, usually up there with the league leaders in assists, 9 this year, 16 last year. He can hit for power. He can hit for average. Plays the game hard, out of Cuba.
Young.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's 28, maybe just might have turned 29.
He is 6th in hits, 3rd in doubles. Holding the runner close at second, Jonathan Scope. Iglesias barely off the bag, and the fastball is going to be up and in.
The only caveat you have to understand if you're a team is that he will be a free agent, as will Price, Tulowitzki, who went to Toronto, Hamels, who went to the Rangers,
Soria, who got dealt today.
Yeah, he's a free agent. So you have Hamels and Tulowitzki. You're actually going to be able to control those players, and we're talking about premier pitcher and shortstop.
2 ball, 1 strike count. Gonzalez working and jockeying off second base. Iglesias. Slider's going to miss outside, and he falls behind. 3 balls and 1 strike on Cespedes. So this lineup early on, Kinsler, Iglesias, Cespedes working him hard, and then you've got Victor Martinez, the DH, waiting on deck. Outfield pretty much straight away. Not much of a breeze, if at all, here. Won't affect anything in the air, at least not at the moment. Little chopper. This is going to be tough. Barehanded throw off the mark. Did not have a chance, really, not with Cespedes' speed. Runner stays at second. Yeah,
if you're Manny, and we saw him make a great play. In fact, every night there's a highlight, part of the highlight reel, but he's playing deep. And that's because Cespedes, not that he can't run, you can see he can. It's just that percentage baseball, don't want a ball by you, cut off the angles. The only good news, you still have the double play in order.
Jim, there's another thing J.J. Hardy does. That's a veteran who went over to cover third base immediately and caused the runner to stop. Usually that runner would take off and head to third, but because Hardy went immediately over to third base, Iglesias held up, and so he's still there.
And he's not, I mean, not a base stealer, but he's a very aggressive base runner, so certainly had that in the back of his mind.
Now Victor Martinez with 2 on and 1 down. Martinez, designated hitter. And the off-speed delivery is going to be in there for a strike.
Yeah, Eric Cooper, I don't think Victor's going to really say a whole lot, but that's a curveball that's usually called high. 1 for 8 lifetime off of Miguel Gonzalez.
Not done very well in these situations. 213 with runners in scoring position. Gonzalez, of course, along with most of the Orioles staff, has been outstanding, holding teams off the scoreboard in these scoring situations. 0-1 count, runners off first and second, looking for a double play. That ball's put up in the air to right field, hit hard, going back on to Davis. With room, he's got it. Runner will tag at second. Iglesias will move up, but a big second out recorded.
Yeah, you're kind of wondering, because Victor Martinez, I mean, he gets the bat head, and that's what he does here so quickly. But the power numbers down. I mean, coming off a career high, because he had the knee problem. I mean, he had the meniscus tear in February, didn't train. So again, the numbers down, and then again, Miguel Cabrera out of the lineup. So maybe you pitch him a little bit differently, but that's a good swing and a bad result.
There again, if Hardy hasn't gone to third, to hold the runner at second, that's a sac fly, and the Tigers are on the board.
Yeah, we were talking about it. A longtime Orioles scout, Dean Albany, says, I don't know if anybody that has a better game clock than J.J. Hardy. And you saw it right there, what you talked about.
So now first and third with 2 down, and that will bring up J.D. Martinez. Martinez, 3 for 11, a homer, 2 RBIs against the Orioles this year. J.D. Martinez, check that, 2 for 12 with a home run this year. And again, problems with the signs. There is no runner at second base this time.
Well, it's kind of an intriguing inning in a sense. I mean, Miguel gives up back-to-back singles, a line drive to right, and he's got a chance to get out of the inning. And then regroup, because doesn't have as good a velocity as he had in Tampa. Doesn't have as good a command for the first inning runs in 18 starts. Well, they're not horrendous. I mean, I suppose if you doubled those, you'd be really worried. But a chance and a very tough out to try to get out of here and have a 0-0 ball game.
J.D. Martinez just missed on a pitch inside. Martinez has put up their best offensive numbers on the year overall. Third in home runs, third in RBIs, sixth in runs scored, and having a very solid month of July. A 1-0 delivery to him. That's way up high, misses, and the count will go to 2-0 on Martinez.
Yeah, I always get the feeling when you watch him hit, because of the power numbers, 14 home runs, 30 his last 32 games, 23 of them last year. You're one swing away from a 3-run home run. Got that kind of power, all fields.
2-0 delivery. That'll be fouled off the other way.
You know, Wally Joyner, the hitting instructor, and again, I mean, you can see that approach right there. Slider away, let it travel. You have home run power to right center field. You don't have to pull the ball at Camden Yards to hit home runs, and the Tigers certainly know that.
First and third, there are two down. Jonathan Scope, second baseman, almost behind the bag, so nobody on the right side of the infield. 2-1 delivery on the way, and a swing and a miss as he blew that one by him at 93.
Yeah, that's a good turn, because he did get it to 93. First three hitters was 90, and right here at 93 in a fastball count.
Gonzalez, with the help of that play by Chris Davis to Machado to throw out Kinsler, has got a chance to get out of this inning. Tigers, when it comes to homers, they are 8th. They have exactly 100 homers on the year. 2-2 delivery on the way, and that one's going to be fouled back off the fist. Count will stay at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, we gave you the pitch repertoire for Miguel Gonzalez, and the one pitch hasn't thrown it yet. That's the splitter. It's always in the back of your mind with 2 strikes. So if you're throwing 90 to 93, as we've seen in your J.D. Martinez, you're trying to protect, but that splitter sometimes hard to pick up. We'll see if maybe he's able to use that to get a strikeout.
Martinez 2 for 5 off Gonzalez. Rips it off the glove. It'll go into the corner. 1 run is scored. Cespedes going to third. He'll be waved home. It'll be a double and 2 RBIs with 2 down. J.D. Martinez puts the Tigers on the board.
Well, they broke a 3-game hitting losing streak yesterday, and Martinez is the guy that got the first run on the board off of Chris Marcher, and that's a ball that just smoked. A ball that sometimes Manny can catch, not hit as hard. Here's Cespedes. We talked about his ability to steal bases, good defender, plus arm. There you see the plus speed all the way, because the ball's right down in the corner. So again, the ball just gets by him because it's hit so hard. Top spin.
And 65 RBIs for Martinez will move him up to a tie with his teammate, with the Orioles rather, Chris Davis, at 65, tied for 4th in the American League in runs batted in. Castellanos now with a runner at second and an extraordinary secondary lead for Martinez, and I'm going to try and hold him, and the pitch will be taken away for a ball. Castellanos 2 for 2. Lifetime off Gonzalez.
I mean, he ended up getting the winning hit off of Chris Archer. 2-1 game. Archer retired the first 19. Infield hit by Iglesias, and then an error by Asdrubal Cabrera, and then Nick got a line drive off of Cabrera's glove for the game winner.
1-0 delivery. Tigers are 42-15 this year when they put the first run up on the board.
Well, Gary, they are really making Miguel Gonzalez work. 4 hits. You can see right now, doesn't trust his stuff. They put a lot of good at bats, hit the ball the other way. When you hang a curveball, double over the bag, and you're 1 pitch away from maybe another run or 2.
2-0 count, and that one came in on the fist, fouled away. Castellanos has faced Gonzalez only a couple times and has gone 2 for 2 against him. He's done a good job for them at third base this season, providing some bat and some defense. He is having an outstanding month, tied for 3rd this month in RBIs. He's got 20 in the month of July. Gonzalez working that pitch count up, where the Tigers are, to his dismay. 2-1. Off second base, Martinez. And the pitch will be on the outside corner for a strike. He leaned in to take a look at it. It was perfectly located. 2-2.
Yeah, and Nick is only 23. I mean, he's Manny Machado's age. Turned 23 a little bit earlier than Manny, but rushed to the big leagues because they needed a third baseman. They traded Prince Fielder down to Texas, moved Cabrera across the infield, and he became the third baseman last year.
2-ball, 2-strike count on him. 2 runs in here in the first. And he will lift that one foul. The Tigers here in July, while they've got a 10-15 record, it's because they haven't pitched well. It's not because they haven't scored runs. Brad Ausmus's team in July is second in the league in runs this month with 115. And they are second in home runs this month with 33. They're pitching, though, 5-6-0. It's the second highest for the month of July in the American League.
Well, 4.6 runs a game. You'll take that for a whole season.
And they don't have Cabrera, and they're still producing that. And he still is the #1 hitter in the American League, best average in the league. 2-ball, 2-strike count. And fooled him on the pitch location-wise. He was leaning in, but it came inside 3-2.
Yeah, you've pretty much seen this entire lineup make Miguel, with their approach, be able to command inside. And to this point, haven't been able to do that yet.
3-2, 2 down.
You know, you look at all the film, you go, well, he's more comfortable to the glove side, which is away to the righties.
Castellanos with an RBI opportunity. Martinez edging off the bag. 3-2, and he got him to chase. So Gonzalez gets the strikeout, but the Tigers get 2 runs. They do it on 4 hits and leave 1 on. And are ready to play some baseball. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Orioles, brought to you by Southwest. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Machado, Reimold, and Jones, Davis, Paredes, and Hardy, Scope, Parmalee, and Joseph. 5 straight multi-hit games for Adam Jones against Detroit.
And Alfredo Simon fastball, 93, 94 miles per hour. Not too many breaking balls. If he's going to throw one, it's going to be a slider, and he loves a splitter. And when you ask people why he has struggled, and he has, because he started out the season, 4-0, then lost 2, it's the splitter is not splitting where he wants it to. So we'll see. They get him an early 2-run lead. And of course, the Orioles had him for about 2.5 years.
Simon's delivery will be taken for a strike. Here is Manny Machado. Simon has no record against the Orioles. He's not pitched against them, so most of the Oriole hitters will take a look at Alfredo Simon for the first time. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Machado fouls it away.
Yeah, that's the splitter, and that also was up in the zone, but maybe hung a little bit out of the zone. Yeah, it's hard not to call him Alfredo Simon because that's the way he pronounced his name when he originally started with the Orioles.
We'll call him that tonight, sooner or later. I will. 0-2 delivery, loops that one out to left field. Cespedes.
Well, take a look at their defense. You already saw their left fielder, Cespedes.
Raji Davis, and then J.D. Martinez, another guy with 12 assists to right. Castellanos, Iglesias is as good as any shortstop around. Kinsler, Romine, and then the youngster, James McCann, doing a lot of the catching.
Good defensive team. They rank third in the American League. It's the Orioles, Houston, and then Detroit as far as defensive positioning is concerned. Here's Nolan Reimold, and Reimold will take the pitch away for a ball. Reimold getting the start in left field. And the Orioles are still looking for somebody to grab a hold of that job or find somebody from outside the organization to take it. Production in left field has not been good overall for the Orioles.
Yeah, another option would be Steve Pearce, but the oblique injury, so he's on the DL, and he's struggled to have what he had last year, which was a career year, over 290, a bunch of home runs, 21 of them.
3-0 count. Simon has walked 39, struck out 82. Pitch is taken for a strike. He's with the club with Detroit when he's on the mound. His starts, they've won 11 and lost 8. Very similar to Miguel Gonzalez. The Orioles are 11-7 in his starts. Reimold pops it up. Shortstop back. Iglesias can't find it. And Cespedes was there anyway. And there are 2 down. Take a look at our Maryland Live Casino inside the numbers on the series.
Well, there you go. And then, of course, the Orioles, they lose the first one. They rough up after the Tigers hit 3 home runs off of Valdo Jimenez. And then the Orioles come kind of roaring back. The big game was the Gonzalez game on Sunday, where they were able to knock out Justin Verlander, who won for the first time yesterday. Outpitched Chris Archer down in Tampa.
2 down, nobody on. That will bring up Adam Jones. I showed you, Adam, of those multi-hit games he's had against the Tigers in the last 5 games they've played this season. He is 7 for 14 against Detroit in those 3 games. He's had a home run and an RBI against the Tigers. Outfield very deep. 1-0 delivery, ground ball towards short. Iglesias. And Simon starts it out with a 1-2-3 inning. First inning done here in the first of this series against the Tigers. They're up 2-0. However, Devin Travis out of the game and out for a while with the shoulder injury. That's the same one that kept him out for 6 weeks earlier. Encarnacion, he's day to day because of that finger. The New York Yankees, they've won 13 of the last 17. The offense has been unbelievable. You see, though, Pineda's placed on the DL. He's got a forearm strain. And how about Chris Archer? You talk about bad luck. Yesterday was the 8th time he's pitched the game without allowing a run, and he's only won 4 of the 8. It was the 16th time he's allowed 2 or fewer runs, and he's won only 9 of those 14 games.
Yeah, they were all talking about the Tigers because Verlander retires the first 14, Archer the first 19. They thought he was going to have a perfect game. That's how well he was pitching. And everybody talking about electric stuff, and then again, if you don't play well behind him, that's how important defense is.
Error cost him the game. So Gonzalez will try and settle it in here. McCann, the catcher, grounds it up the middle, and he's on. So 2 innings. The Tigers have had the leadoff man on with a base hit. The next fireworks night coming up here at the Yard is set for tomorrow night. The Tigers in for the 7:05 game. After the game, the Birdland skies light up with a great fireworks display presented by Kaiser Permanente. Good seats remain. Go to Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD fireworks tomorrow night. That's hit number 5 off Gonzalez. Romine. Andrew Romine getting the start at first base, a 1-for-3 lifetime off Gonzalez. Machado will play for the bunt. No bunt, base hit. First pitch. So the first 2 hitters have singles. No chance for Manny on that one. Playing in, that ball scooted by him.
Yeah, all you got to do is look at their approach, and that is if he pitches it away, you hit it there. Well, that's why the ability is that what you have until you get to 2 strikes. I learned this many years ago when Hal McRae was the hitting instructor with the Expos. He said that home plate is 7 baseballs. Until you get to 2 strikes, you either look for the inside 4 or the outside 4. It appears to me they're looking for the outside 4, and it forces you as a pitcher to be able to pitch to both sides of the plate early in the count.
Now Rajah Davis, speedster, batting 9th, bunting for a base hit right there. He'd take the sacrifice, but he would take the base hit. So Manny Machado, already even with the bag, may stay there. Davis is batting 9th. He's like that second leadoff batter in a lineup. He is 4 for 12 against Gonzalez, and he's got some pop in the bat. Runners at first and second. Parmalee is also playing in at first base. 0-1 count. Let's see if he does bunt. Does not. Gets a base hit into right field. Davis shallow. Runner will stop at third. So the first 3 Tiger hitters all on with base hits.
And you're getting the feeling that velocity, the radar gun's not telling you anything. Location, movement, late life. Maybe one of those nights. And you don't see it very often when Miguel Gonzalez just doesn't have it. And of course, their approach is making it even more difficult.
So in a real jam here, 7 hits, 9 batters, 7 hits, and back to the top of the order. And Kinsler had a base hit, then got thrown out as he came off the bag at third, trying to go from first to third.
7 hits in 6, either up the middle or to the opposite field.
So the Tigers with a chance for a big inning here. And that ball put up in the air, not particularly deep. Runner will tag at third. Reimol's got it. Throw will come in, and the runner will hold. So Reimol gets it into the cutoff man, and a big out on Kinsler.
Well, he poked a slider to right with 1 strike the first time, and right here, what does Miguel do? We talked about pitching to both sides of the plate. You get a guy up. He wants to drive in runs the ball under his hands, and gets a pop-up.
Boy, is that a big out. Now you get a ground ball, and again, he's got an opportunity to get himself out of the inning. Here's Iglesias up, a single and a run scored. He's now 4 for 9 lifetime against Gonzalez. Bud Norris already up in the bullpen for the Orioles.
They got to be very careful on balls. Again, if he hits one back to you, you're coming home, because you're not going to be able to probably turn a double play because of the speed factor.
1 down, sacks full, popped him up. It'll be back and over the screen. Iglesias' 6th chance with the bases loaded this year. He does not have a hit. 0 for 5. There they are, base hits. Laying down there at third base, Romine at second, Davis at first. All on before an out was recorded. 0-1 the count. Gonzalez delivers to him, and that one will miss down low. In the series in Detroit, the Tigers were 5 for 18 against the Orioles with runners in scoring position. One ball, 1 strikeout. Infield double play depth. Ground ball to the middle. Hardy's got it. There's one. Oh, mercy. Bases loaded, nobody out, and the Tigers get zipped on a fly ball out by Kinsler, and Iglesias hitting into a double play.
First World Series, we were the underdogs playing the Dodgers. Frank and Brooks Robinson hit home runs in the first inning. Didn't know if we could win. We did.
The Orioles try to do something like that again. Sunset time here in Baltimore. A lot of those heavy thunderstorm clouds have moved out, thank goodness. And the Tigers have the 2-0 lead. Pretty sunset.
It's become a ritual every day about maybe 10 of 2.
Yeah.
They come rolling in.
Downpour.
Yesterday they didn't hit. Today they did. Rain delay yesterday, yeah. And you think it would cool it off? Nope.
Nope, didn't. So Simon's pitch is in there for a strike. Here is the red hot Chris Davis. He is 2 for 2 with a home run lifetime off Simon, one of the few in the Orioles lineup, and actually has faced Simon. 0-1 pitch on the way. Simon is vulnerable to the left-handers. They're hitting .309 against him and have 10 of the 11 home runs he's given up. Big difference. .309 lefties, .237 right-handed bounders. 1-1 pitch on the way. Davis, the off-speed delivery at 77, is in there for a strike.
Now he is a big guy, 6'6", somewhere in the. There's his pitching coach, Jeff Jones, 265, 70, 75. Very simple windup.
Breaking ball, another one all the way down to 67.
Well, you know what? It's funny. I'm looking through all the numbers. He's the only guy has the I've seen all year 31 ephus balls, and that was one of them. Ephus. When you look at the whether it's a slider or a splitter, I mean, there's another. I mean, they're just So he's thrown now 33 of them.
We don't know what the exact definition of an ephus ball is. We know Rip Sewell threw it. It used to be like a softball arc that he could throw for a strike. Simon doesn't arc it, but it certainly is about the same speed.
Well, it's arc-like. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And then the something fastball, 81.
Well, when he was with the Orioles, and he started for the Orioles 23 games, 16 starts. He was a guy, and out of the bullpen, he was 95, 96. Hard slider, and then the splitter.
3-2 delivery on the way, and Davis will start it out with a walk. So the Orioles get their first base runner, and it is a leadoff walk. Maryland Lottery contestant of the game, Fred Ferguson from Dundalk, 500 for being selected, 500 more for every Orioles home run. Play baseball bucks scratch offs went up to 50,000 or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com.
Yeah, they're coming baseball. Out. Yeah, they're coming
concerned
out.
About something they've seen.
Well, you're not seeing a lot of push off, and you're not seeing a lot of velocity. And of course, normally he's around 92 to 93. That's not the case tonight.
You were throwing so weakly, we were wondering, are you okay?
Well, that's kind of.
Are you all right? To which he responded, "Hey, 2 of those were strikes."
Yeah, right. I mean, what do you want me to throw? Harder than 68? Come on. It's hot. It's humid. Kevin Rand, a longtime trainer, or maybe Brad Ausmus, who caught in the big leagues for about 18 years ago, and go check him out.
Go check him out.
Throwing some garbage up there.
All right, here's Paredes, who will take the pitch for a strike. The Orioles DH, 2 hits, 11 at bats.
Well, I think it could be said, if you wanted to do a scouting report on the Orioles, they like to hit the fastball, but let's not go completely gone. I mean,
start throwing underhand.
He's thrown like 5 ephesus.
Here's the 0-1 delivery and a swing and a miss. I mean, if the radar is right, and I'm sure it is, I mean, it's all over the place. That's apparently a fastball.
Well, that was a splitter, and I think he's got another one that's just kind of the whatever.
78, 81, 67.
67, yeah, and then he's got there's another one.
There's another one off the bat. Only play is going to be at first. Simon up, bad throw, good stretch made. Romine. Davis goes down to second base. So the Orioles get their hottest hitter up with a runner in scoring position, J.J. Hardy.
Yeah, curveball last night. So tonight is a J.J. Hardy T-shirt night, and we actually kind of demonstrated it. And it's a glove with his autograph. And I said after he hit the home run, I took a black marker and drew in a bat. And he said, "Good, good."
A man of Hemingway tastes. A simple sentence. Runner at second base. J.J. Hardy trying to get him home. Pitch to him will be taken for a ball. Express Stat by Express Care, a LifeBridge health partner. For locations, visit whywaitinther.com. There you see the Orioles number, single season best. Right now, 284. That's the 4th best the Orioles have ever had. 1-0 delivery, and that'll be fouled away.
If we took you back to the first couple of days of July, it was hovering around 318. Got as high as 321, which is, to be honest, aberrationally high.
JJ's been one of the best, 328 in these situations for the Orioles. Kinsler will move in at second base, believing Chris Davis is getting a little bit far off the bag. Hardy down to third base, knocked down. Castellanos up, checks the runner. Throw over, will get him. Good play. 2 down.
Yeah, Nick Castellanos, a pretty tall guy, so he just kind of takes a couple of steps and falls left. And tremendous wingspan. The ball might have had a chance, hit a little bit harder to get into left.
So the Orioles will try for a 2-out RBI, and it'll be Jonathan Scope who will try and get it done. He gets his first look.
I will say this, Gary, if he's going to change speeds, and he is changing speeds, 67 to 88, they better use the whole field like the Tigers are, because they're easy to overswing.
And that'll be a strike in the outside corner. Our American Standard, who hot and who is not.
Yeah, we were talking about Scope with a big home run that got the Orioles on the board last night, and then Simon really struggled.
You can celebrate the season with the American Standard All-Star event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities. Another one of those ephus at 66, and that one is blocked. Kane had to go out and make the stop on that one. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Boy, McCann's got to be alive behind the plate. Although, there have been 8 wild pitches thrown by Simon this year. And a ground ball to third, big chopper. Castellanos has got that one. Sidearm throw, and he's got him. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. The Tigers, the early lead here at Camden Yards. Mr. Hardy, the designer T-shirt from the designer himself at Short, and fans getting them as they came into the ballpark tonight. Some apparently have already washed them and hung them out to dry. Or they wore the shirts and
they just put them on with this humidity and they hung them up for dry.
Yoenis Cespedes, a base hit and a run scored. He's got a 4-game hit streak now. And Cespedes improves his numbers against Gonzalez to 6 for 12 in his career. Shift on in the infield. Gonzalez 0-1 outside. We're talking about this Tigers offense. They lead the majors with a .274 batting average. They have been the leader for the last 2 years, 2013 and 2014, and are trying to do it for the 3rd consecutive year. There is only one other team since 1900 that has led the majors in batting average for 3 consecutive seasons. That was the Red Sox, who did it from 87 through 90, 4 years in a row. 2-1 strike count. Cespedes will take the pitch inside, get him dancing a little less comfortable, but the count's 3-1. Gonzalez, the pitch count up over at 43. Needs some quick outs. 3-1 delivery on the way, and that'll be fouled off the other way, and it will stay fouled.
Yeah, when you look at Cespedes and the fact that he comes over to the big leagues, signed by Oakland the first year, and it was like he played here his whole life. Almost hit 300, 23 home runs, almost 85 RBIs, 82, stole some bases, 16 out of 20, did everything, and played under control.
3-2 hit hard. Manny Machado's got to make one of those Brooksy throws, and a great pick at first base. Parmalee, and a fine play by Manny Machado.
Yeah, Chris Davis does a nice job of this too, and Parmalee not quite as big a target, but he is smooth over there. And then again right here, maybe had a little more chance, but again, Cespedes runs hard, and Parmalee just picks it. The short hop, not an easy play. He makes it look easy, and then, as we say every night, highlight reel. It might be from a different angle or a different movement, going to his left, right, in, out, over his shoulder. Unbelievable.
Here is Victor Martinez. Martinez flied out his first time up, the DH, 1 for 9. Lifetime off Gonzalez. For Miguel here at home this year, 3-2, 8 starts here at Oriole Park this season. ERA at home 4.01. On the road, not much different. 3.97, virtually the same. 1 down, the 0-1 delivery on the way, and that'll be looped to third. Manny Machado has moved over a little bit, right where he needed to be. 2 down. J.D. Martinez coming up as he does. So take a look at our Jeep Inside the Numbers for this outfield.
Yeah, it's pretty special outfield. He's a big part of it, and again, coming off a year where he actually was he was released by Houston. He wasn't one of their minor league guys in the sense that he had been high draft choice, and Tigers took him. Hit over 300, 23 home runs.
You'll foul that one right straight back. That's what
nice
Showalter likes to say. Anyone who thinks they've got the bead on scouting players for the major leagues better think again. You just never know.
I was talking to him in spring training, and I said, so, do you expect a big adjustment? He said, he said, I found kind of interesting that when you play and you're a new player in the league, which he was last year, they adjust as the season goes along. Mm-hmm. So you have to make, and we talk about it all the time, the in-season adjustments. The thing is he's, for a big power guy, he's a good outfielder. And he's got a great arm, as we mentioned, 12 assists already. Powered all fields, and he can hit, not hitting 300 this year, but hitting in the 280s.
Off the fist, broken bat, foul territory, and it'll end up in the seats. So a 2 down, a 1-2 count.
And one of those things, Gary, where you can get him out, but if you make mistakes, they're not going to be soft singles.
No, he's got the long ball. third of those 27 home runs, fourth total bases in the American League for J.D. Martinez.
Well, just imagine playing on the same team with Miguel Cabrera. The way he uses the whole field, home runs, high average, Triple Crown winner, MVP a couple of times.
1 ball, 2 strike count, looking for a clean inning, and the pitch will be up high. You just think if the Tigers had had any kind of pitching, anything close to what they expected with this offense, they would have been the powerhouse that a lot of people thought they would be.
Well, who would have thought Verlander would take him almost to the end of July to win his first game because of injuries, and maybe not pitching as well as he could.
Pitch taken outside, a 3 ball, 2 strike count, 2 down.
But the other factor is, they come in at 49 and 52. If Cabrera hadn't played since July 3rd, the record might be a little bit better. They might not have been sellers, might have been buyers.
3-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be looped towards right center, coming over Jones, racing hard, and he'll make it. J.D. Martinez retired, as are the Tigers. For Gonzalez, a 1-2-3 inning. Parmalee will lead it off when we come back. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com, and by your local Mazda dealers. Oriole Park, Camden Yards. Tigers have the 2-0 lead, first to 4. Is that her sign though, or the kids? I could hold that sign up, and it would be true.
Might have just flown in from Europe. I don't know. And it would be past your bedtime.
Here's Chris Parmalee leading it off. Parmalee will pop that one up. Silo shot.
Well, this is unbelievable. I think just about all the outs are on balls that are about letter high, and he's yet to throw over 88. Remember when you were a kid, the guy would be slopping it up there, move up in front of the bot, do anything.
Well, you remember when you played Major League Baseball with the guys from the dugout are hollering out there
well,
right now.
Well, that's part of the game, yeah. Well, it would be Simon. Whatever your name is. Throw the ball.
Throw the ball.
But it's working.
Is it ever? Caleb Joseph will take the pitch for a strike. Orioles have had 1 runner, a walk, leading off the 2nd inning to Davis. Simon retires 68% of leadoff batters. 2 out of 3 so far in this one. 0-1 pitch, and that'll be outside at 84.
Well, just imagine, he turned 34 in May, and if you were a young player, a young pitcher coming up through the minors, and you threw like this, are you getting to the big leagues?
Are you trying?
And I'm not disparaging,
I hear you,
because it's working.
1-1 delivery. There's another one. Simon's got it. He throws to first the same way he throws to the plate. Not very hard. But recorded the out. It's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use O's Couch Cam, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Doing that right now, in fact. God forbid a foul ball comes your way. Here's Manny Machado. Machado flied out to left his first time up. Talked about the Orioles offense during their 5-game win streak. They've outscored opponents 21-7. Not a big offensive output, but how about the starters? They're 4-0 with a 1.24 ERA for the Orioles over the last 5 games. Sensational pitching, and the bullpen well rested. Penn has thrown just 10 2/3 innings in those 5 games. 2-0 count. Machado flied out to left and now has a 2-0 count with 2 down, nobody on. Simon's pitch will catch the outside corner for a strike.
Yeah, those are all little split change-ups, and they're 82. And if you throw the splitter, you split your fingers, the ball tumbles out, so it has a little downward movement. Tonight, even the ones up apparently are moving a little bit.
2-1.
There's another one, and I mean, really, just think about it. How often do you see something relatively straight at 77 miles per hour in the big leagues?
BP.
Not even in BP.
It's usually 80.
Yeah. Guys they're up throwing from 45 feet.
Yeah.
You're maybe getting 85 to 88, 89.
3-1 delivery on the way, down to third, hit hard. Castellanos, a nice play. And he got him. Wow. Retires the side in order, and the Tigers have the 2-0 lead. Participants in the Play Baseball program at Patterson Park today. He and his wife on hand, teaching the kids, giving them a great day to be remembered. Baltimore City Park and Recreation Play Baseball for the youth program. Ages 9 to 12. They get equipment, uniforms, transportation, and it's a great 8-week summer program. Manny has a special event. Took place earlier this year, Manny's Base Bowl tournament. That tournament raised over $80,000, and tonight here at the ballpark on hand to present that check to the Baltimore City Foundation that supports the Play Baseball program. Great work by Manny for a great program for the kids. And it's a long-standing one here in Baltimore that has at times kind of run on a shoestring, and Manny's picked that up and helped provide some needed funds. Castellanos up a 1-0 count. He is a strikeout victim. 2-7-0 for the Tigers, zeros for the Orioles. Gonzalez with a 55 pitches thrown so far.
Yeah, the strikeout of Nick Castellanos was pretty big because it got him out of the first inning. They already scored a couple of runs. Martinez, J.D. Martinez had been down at second. And chases one a little bit out of the zone. Aggressive swing.
For Manny, for Miguel rather, Gonzalez, it's been kind of an up and down When he wins, he is just outstanding. 9 wins, 2.18 ERA. Opponents hit a .98. When he's lost, 6 defeats, ERA is 7.5, and the opponents hit .333.
And it's almost like sometimes when he does pitch poorly, he comes back because he gets some extra rest. If you know what I mean. If you go look, he pitches 5 innings against the Tigers because they get him a lot of runs right as we get into the 5th inning, and so again he throws 90 pitches, comes back, pitches his best game. So sometimes if you ever do get knocked out, you go, well, the good news is
I rest.
I get a little bit of rest. I didn't throw as many pitches. Bad news is ERA goes up and you usually lose games. But I think for him sometimes it's beneficial.
And the pitch will be outside, and there is the first walk surrendered, and it is a leadoff walk. On Sunday, all kids 14 and under can live out their big league dreams by running bases here at the ballpark. It'll be after the Tigers game at 1:35, so gather up family, friends, and create some Birdland memories. Good seats remain. For tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Castellanos on leadoff walk. Leadoff man on 3 out of the 4 innings for the Tigers. McCann up, base hit, stranded in the 2nd inning. Tigers could have had a lot more runs. Gonzalez has found his way out of jams, especially that 2nd inning, bases loaded, nobody out. Tigers didn't score. The fly ball and a double play to get out of the inning. Left a man in scoring position on in the 1st. Miguel got helped out as the leadoff Van Kinsler got thrown out trying to go 1st to 3rd, and then the Tigers would score 2 runs after that. 0-1. Inside out to the gap. That's not going to get caught. Jones, though, will be able to cut it off. Ball bounced back his way. And again, the first 2 runners on here in the 4th inning. Our PNC minor league report.
You look at Tyler Wilson, and of course the Orioles, and I think even Oriole fans know about him. Very good spring, really kind of put his mark on the roster the way he pitched. And again, he's come up. He's pitched 1 start. He's pitched out of the bullpen. I could not imagine he will be in the minor leagues that long. I mean, he really has a nice feel for pitching. Not overpowering, but just the ability to pitch to both sides of the plate and use his off-speed secondary pitches.
Orioles playing for the bunt. Nobody out, 1st and 2nd. Romine does square, takes it. It'll be up high for a ball.
Well, we saw Bud Norris get up and get loose early on, and I mean, this is just one of those games where, again, it's not about the radar gun. It's good approaches. They're not overswinging. Orioles are, and Miguel does not have the crispness to his stuff that he normally has.
Romine's got 1 sacrifice on the year. He had a base hit his first time up tonight. 1-0 count. Infield still playing the bunt. He squares, drops it down to 3rd. It's a good one. Machado's got a bare hand go to 1st. Will record the out. Runners will move up. Castellanos goes to 3rd. Getting down to 2nd base.
Yeah, I think that's always a decision in the American League that it can be sometimes difficult to make. Certainly wasn't for Brad Ausmus. Now you look at your starter. Simon hasn't been pitching well. So you figure, okay, now they'll play the infield back, so we might be able to get 1 more. But do you want to play for the big inning? And a lot of times in the American League, that's not the case tonight. You will. So now again, that's why the Orioles will bring their infield in about halfway.
Tigers have already had 7 chances with a runner in scoring position. They are 3 for 7. Rajah Davis, a base hit his first time up. And that's going to go to right field. That could be in the gap, and it is. It'll go all the way to the wall. Castellanos and McCann are just going to walk home. Davis, who can fly, will get a stand-up triple and 2 RBIs, and the Tigers get a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, one of those nights. Great approach. It's a slider. He lets it travel. Dave Wallace, the Oriole pitching coach, is going to come out while Bud Norris will probably get loose again. And sometimes you have it. I mean, you got to give the Tigers credit. They have gotten a lot of pitches. I mean, this is a slider. It's not a great one, but it's not a bad pitch. But look at the approach. Doesn't try to pull it. He's just trying to get a ball in the air because of the runner at 3rd and less than 2 outs. And as it turns out, hits it up the gap, and as you mentioned, with his speed, it's an easy triple.
That'll be his 8th triple of the year. Norris back and throwing in the Orioles bullpen. Kevin Kiermaier, Tampa Bay, leads the American League in triples with 10. Rajah Davis now has 8. So 4 runs, 9 hits, and again leadoff walk and a single. First 2 on, they both score, and Rajah Davis, with only 1 away, is in scoring position at third base for Kinsler.
And because of the scoreboard, you got to bring your infield in again.
Ian Kinsler will have that advantage. He's got a base hit and he is flied out. Gonzalez delivers to him and he rips it down the line, curving, and it is a foul ball right in the corner. Bounced off that corner angle a little bit too far in front.
Good fortune right there for Miguel Gonzalez. And this ball just hooked enough to barely get fouled by about a foot or so. Yeah, the big pitches you talked about after the bases got loaded in the second were all up and in. You got Kinsler over aggressive with bases loaded, nobody out, to pop up short left, and then jammed Iglesias to get a double play ball right where they're going now.
0-1 infield stays in. Kinsler takes it in and up, and a 1-ball 1-strike count.
And of course what he's doing, and we saw him do it the first time, he's looking out over the plate, and he'll do that till he gets to 2 strikes. You have that luxury as a hitter.
Kinsler 3 for 11 against the Orioles this year. He'll bloop that towards center field. Jones coming, not going to get it. Read by Rajah Davis, and he will score. So the dying quail to center field is an RBI for Kinsler and a 5-0 Tigers lead. And they're getting them in every which way here in this game, and that'll be it for Gonzalez. So a tough start for Miguel, and as we said, it's kind of been that way this year, all or nothing in the starts that he's had, and just did not have it. As Jimmy said, it's 5 runs on 10 hits, and he'll be responsible for the runner on at first base.
The numbers, the 3 1/3 and the 10 hits. I guess the Tigers made a loud statement. They lose their best pitcher and their closer. It's not going to deter them. And then our AT&T call to the bullpen. AT&T, proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles. AT&T, mobilizing your world. So Bud Norris comes on. A lot of fastballs, slider, cutter, and then an occasional changeup. That number down, but then the numbers are up. 2-9, 2-7 as a starter. A couple of losses. Once where he pitched well out of the bullpen. Once where he gave up a couple of home runs in Minnesota. So again, power arm. I mean, you can get it up there 94 to 95. And when you come in as a long man, you try to slam the door. And that's what the Orioles need to try to get back into this game.
So Gonzalez out of there. It's his shortest outing of the year. It equals the most hits he's given up. He gave up 10 against Miami in a 4-inning performance, but this one only 3 1/3. Iglesias with a runner at first base. Got him! Caught him flat-footed. Kinsler is picked off by Bud Norris.
Yeah, he just kind of gets the hands up, and boy, perfect timing. I'm not sure you really know where this is going to happen, but the quick throw, it's an accurate throw, and then you got Parmalee just dropping the glove on him.
Kinsler's had a tough time on the bases.
Well, yeah, thanks goodness for him. Otherwise, the innings may still be going on. I mean, just never ever know in the 4th inning. You know, getting out, throwing out at 3rd, and coming off the bag, getting picked off. The Orioles are going to have to mount some offense, but those are big outs because you got to get 27 of them some way, and hopefully, you know, they want to score as many as they can.
Iglesias will take the pitch on the outside corner. So now 2 down, nobody on. And the line is final for Gonzalez. 5 runs, 10 hits, 3 1/3. And for Kinsler, thrown out at 3rd, trying to go first to 3rd, and now taken out on the pickoff. The last man for Gonzalez. Strike on the inside corner, Anthony's. And Bud Norris with a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Iglesias, singled and scored, and hit into a big double play with the bases loaded in the 2nd inning. Delivery to him. Iglesias bouncer that he watches jump up into the mitt for Joseph, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. So in the hands of the Orioles long man now to give the Orioles a chance. Plenty of at bats left in the ball game for Buck Showalter's ball club. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and that will be down low. This season for Bud Norris, he has pitched in only 1 game and only 1/3 of an inning against the Tigers. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Iglesias goes to 3rd. He can't get that. It'll roll into foul territory. Iglesias on his way to second base. He's got a double, and he's 2 for 3 in the ball game.
Yeah, the ability to really shorten the swing. Everybody talks about it with 2 strikes. And again, I mean, he just look how quick he is to the ball. So again, he doesn't hit it hard, but you're playing off the line. You're figuring maybe the percentage of baseballs if you're a 3rd baseman, Manny Machado for the Orioles, but he's able to hook it to his right. And not only does it get by him, it's extra bases.
Iglesias now is 7 for 13 against the Orioles this year.
Do they know that David Price and Joaquin Sawyer have been traded? I don't
apparently
think so.
They forgot to tell them. Cespedes has singled and scored and grounded out, robbed of a hit by Manny Machado, and not robbed this time. Way back in left field, and goodbye home run. Yoenis Cespedes, a 2 RBI homer, and the Tigers have a 7-0 lead.
Well, this is what somebody is probably going to get if they are rebooting, as you mentioned in the opening. Dave Dombrowski talking about that. I mean, it's just a fastball. I mean, it's not a horrible pitch, but this is what he does. He can go down and get him.
That's his 3rd career home run in this ballpark.
I mean, look at him golf this home run. I mean, great extension. I mean, what are you trying to do? Hit the back of the ball, and he just wallops it.
So he's got 18 home runs and 62 RBIs, which will move him into the top 10 in runs batted in. Big inning for the Detroit Tigers, and those 2, of course, charged to Norris. So 2 down, bases are empty. Here is Victor Martinez. Martinez, the 8th Tiger to hit here in the 4th inning. He has flied out and lined out. He's the only Tiger not to have reached base so far in the ball game. That's 7 runs on 12 hits for the Tigers tonight. And there is Cespedes. How long will he be in this uniform? The question for him. Will he be the next Tiger to go? 1 ball, 1 strike count. Outside. Jim, you know far better than I, but the mental state of a ball club coming in with the deals made today, your #1 starter, your closer gone, Sometimes it has the reverse effect.
Well, it does, and you know, they're relaxed. I don't think the Tigers think that they're out. They're only 3.5 back in the wild card.
Yep.
So I don't, you know, you know, I saw Wally Joyner, the hitting instructor. David Newhan used to play with the Orioles as the assistant guy. I mean, everybody's loose. They're going to go play the game. And if they pitch better than the Orioles, or they hit better, which is certainly the case to this point, that's how you win games. You've talked about their defense. They're a pretty good defensive club.
Yep. 3-1 delivery on the way, and there's a walk. So the Tigers will be bringing their 9th batter to the plate.
And you're kind of seeing what happens when you're a starting pitcher and you've been relegated to the bullpen because of injury and performance, and then you don't get to pitch for a week. So we're not seeing 94 to 96, and we're seeing walks and a home run to Cespedes in the middle of the plate.
So J.D. Martinez, a double, 2 RBIs, and he is flied out. He stands in with a runner at first and 2 down. The infield shift will be put on against him, and he'll take it down low. Good stop made by Caleb Joseph to hold the runner on at first base. J.D. Martinez came into the ball game without having had a hit in this ballpark. Took care of that in the first inning with the double. He's now 1 for 8 here at Camden Yards. 1-0 delivery on the way, and that was a jam shot popped up behind second, shallow center. Jones coming. Adam wants it and will put it away. But the Tigers spat around here in the 4th inning. Make it a big inning. They've got a 7-0 lead. Morning news. Cole Hamels, of course, going. Jake Diekman coming to the Rangers. Phillies left-hander Matt Harrison, 5 prospects. He said it was also the most cost-effective way for the Rangers to make themselves contenders next year, with a roster that includes some immovable and ugly-looking long-term commitments to Elvis Andrus and Shin Soo Choo. Assessing a deal on the home front.
Yeah, that and Yu Darvish with the Tommy John. And the assumption, and you keep reading about it, is, well, now all of a sudden they'll be kind of like Greinke and Kershaw. But that's a big stretch when Darvish gets it, what, early April? And he's going to come back and be the, I mean, he's a very talented young pitcher, one of the best in the American League. But to expect him to come back within 12 months and be Yu Darvish, I don't even know if you let him do that. So he may be somebody that will help them June, July of next year.
Orioles.
And the other factor, Gary, is that, you know, when you get a David Price, and that's what Toronto was able to do, he pitches in the American League. And he's a dominant guy, and he got roughed up the other day by Tampa. But you've seen him against the DH. Hamels is going to go to a ballpark that, you know, it's a hitter's park, and you're going to face the next hitter, you know, with the DH. So he's a very talented guy coming off a no-hitter. And you get him, you control him for what, this year and all the way into 2018. So probably a pretty good trade. And then I understand the players going back to the Phillies and they need to get better. Some really talented young players. So
2-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be foul back. Well, that certainly is a team. You talk about rebooting. The Phillies are certainly doing that, maybe a little more. Saw an interesting note on the Tigers today from MLB.com. Their assessment, MLB.com's assessment of minor league organizations and prospects. The Tigers are one of only 2 teams without a prospect in the top 100. Tigers and Giants do not have anyone in the top 100 prospect list. So if you talk about rebooting, it's about rebooting the organization.
Well, that's why Cespedes has such value, and Price has such value, and you know, Soria, you're looking, if you're Dave Dombrowski, to get better.
3 ball, 2 strike count on Reimold leading it off. Reimold batting second, flied out his first time up. Nolan will follow it up.
Yeah, you know, Alfredo Simon, he's just going to slot, you know, that was 89, so you know he can throw in the low 90s. But until the Orioles get on the board with a hit, he's just going to keep doing what he's doing.
Throwing it all over the place and at variable speeds. 3-2 delivery. And he walked.
Yeah, that's the one thing you don't want to do. You want to pitch to contact with a 7-0 lead. So let's see if the Orioles take advantage of it.
Orioles get their second leadoff walk of the ballgame. On Saturday, August 15, the first 20,000 fans 15 and over get the J.J. Hardy orange replica jersey. When the Birds take on the A's, 7:05, you can add to your Birdland wardrobe detailed replica of the O's popular alternate jersey. Seats remain. Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. The Orioles obviously need to get at it. They've got plenty of time left here, even though they trail 7-0. But they haven't got a hit. Jones grounded out his first time up. Simon's delivery will miss outside for a ball.
Well, his last start against the Red Sox, 6 innings, 1 run. But before that, 4, 7, 5, 6, 5, 7. So it's not like he's actually cruising along over his last 7 starts.
July has been a terrible month for him. 1-0 pitch, and that's going to be taken up high for a ball.
And the other factor, well, there's a couple of factors. Number one, Brad Ausmus, the skipper of the Tigers, trying to win. Simon knows he's got to go 5 innings. He's only in the 4th. Second time through the lineup. The Orioles, they don't like the scoreboard the way it looks, so they're going to try to change that. And you can get a little tension in there.
2-0 delivery, changed it right there. Way back left field, at the wall, and goodbye, home run. Adam Jones with a 2 RBI shot, and the Orioles are back in it.
And how do you get back in it? You get a free pass, and with a 7-0 lead, that's exactly what a walk is. And then you get Adam Jones hitting his 16th home run.
That'll be home run number 12 off Simon, and only the second one hit by a right-hander. And Adam Jones gives the Orioles just what they needed. And Fred Ferguson, our Maryland lottery contestant, that's worth 500. Pitch on the way, and that one looped foul.
Yeah, you walk Reimold, you get behind Jonesy, and here you go, number 16, 6th home run of July that catches Chris Davis.
Celebrate, celebrate.
I tell you, Cespedes went up there.
Yes,
I mean, the ball's not a couple of feet higher. It might have flagged it down.
So 2-1-2 in here in the 4th inning. That'll be for Adam Jones, the 10th home run he's had here at Camden Yards. Going for one himself, Chris Davis, who drew a walk.
Well, how about getting somebody up in your bullpen already? That tells you how Simon's been pitching.
And the fact they visited earlier may indicate he may not feel well and maybe something wrong, as they went out with the trainer to check earlier in the ball game. 1-2 deliveries fouled off. Shift on, of course, against Chris Davis.
Well, he throws his splitter about 30% of the time, and then, you know, fastball only 40% of the time. Shane Green, who again was a young pitcher that they got from the Yankees, they thought was going to pitch well, didn't. So He left the starting rotation, and he's a long man.
Chris has got 16 home runs here at home, tied for first in the American League in homers at home, and he got him in a called strike. So Davis is retired.
Yeah, a little split fastball that moves to the outside corner and fools Chris. Just filters its way down into the zone.
First strikeout picked up by Simon in the game. Here in this ballpark, of course, since he played for the Orioles, he's thrown a number of innings. His record 6-6 here with a .492 earned run average. His 46 appearances were made in this ballpark, as Jim mentioned. Put up in the air by Paredes to left field. Cespedes in the twilight. 2 down.
He's got the little Willie Mays flip.
And it is Platter's time here at the Baltimore. J.J. Hardy. Hardy grounded out his first time up. Castellanos at third made a fine play on him. 2 down, nobody on. Nyman's pitch will miss outside for a ball. Remember, the Tigers are 1 short in the bullpen, with Soria being traded, their closer, down to third and foul. 1 ball, 1 strike count. So a shortened bullpen, which is why they want Simon to at least get through 5 here if he can. And they don't know, we don't know who their closer is. I'm sure Brad Ausmus knows if they needed one who it would be, but right now it's probably closer by committee.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I suppose it could be Albuquerque or Rodon, who's been struggling a little bit.
1-2 pitch, and that's in the dirt. 2 ball, 2 strike count on the Orioles shortstop.
Naftali Feliz closed. You know, he's not been at his best for getting traded from Texas.
Simon with the 2-2 delivery, and Hardy down to third. Castellanos along the line. And that'll retire the side, but the Orioles get a couple of runs on their first hit of the ball game, and their only one. This swing of the bat by Adam Jones, his 16th home run. Orioles make it a 7-2 ball game. Tigers on top in this ball game. Simon giving us a different look here, Jim, in this game tonight.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. You know, the velocity not there, but effectiveness other than the home run. So where do you go from here if you're the Orioles? Well, first of all, you want to shut down inning. We always talk about it after you get the lead.
Yep.
Well, you need it when you're down, and then he's going to try to get the 5 innings to get the win. You want to get to the bullpen as quickly as you can. Bud Norris has to make his pitches, which he's certainly capable of doing. And then you go from there. You just want to get into the bullpen somewhere in the 6th or 7th inning and The other thing is it is a hot, humid night, and if you're not feeling well, it makes it even more difficult to pitch well.
Castellanos led off the fourth inning with a walk, came around to score. 9 Tigers came to the plate in that last inning. Pitches in there for a strike. He didn't think so. Castellanos turns to have a word with Eric Cooper, the home plate umpire. Norris giving up 2 runs, coming on in relief in the fourth before getting the 2 outs he needed to get out of the inning. And the pitch will be away at 86 and a 1-ball 2-strike count. Castellanos has faced Norris 3 times, 0 for 3 in the at-bats against Bud. 1-2 delivery, and that'll bounce in the dirt. 2-ball 2-strike count. Orioles trying to extend to their longest match, their longest win streak of the year, which is 6, which they have done once previously.
Yeah, the
10 and 13 this month.
The 6 consecutive quality starts. That's obviously no longer the case. I'm going to have to do it with the bats tonight if it's going to happen.
Big count on a pitch up and got him.
Yeah, sometimes obviously you want that ball down and away, and it just spins, and Nick Castellanos just swings right through it. He's thinking home run and misses it.
Norris getting his first strikeout on this pitch. That was by him. James McCann coming up. McCann, couple of hits. He hadn't had a hit in 9 at bats coming in. He has 2 singles and a run scored. Where the Tiger catcher is throwing out 44% of base stealers this season.
Hey, I watched, as I mentioned, I watched that game yesterday, and he, in a 2-1 ball game, Steven Souza Jr. tried to steal, and I mean, talk about some arm strength. Looks like he calls a good game. I mean, coming off a terrific year last year at AAA. Alex Avila, the concussion, knee problem early for Alex, so very good catcher, but the bat not there for him. And potential free agent. Yep.
Another one who could be traded, his name mentioned. 2-0 count. McCann will chop it to third. Manny Machado gets the big hop. 2 down in the 5th. O's fans, never miss a game update, behind the scenes moment, or exclusive contest. Follow @Masson Orioles on Twitter for all the latest Orioles buzz. Again, that's @Masson Orioles on Twitter. Romine, a base hit and a sacrifice, helped set up a couple of runs in that 4th inning.
Yeah,
Romine to start at first base.
Yeah, they play for 1 or 2 runs and get 5.
Yeah.
That works out well.
With Cabrera out, of course, they've maneuvered a few people around that Brad Ausmus has at first base. That's Cabrera's position. Pitch on the way, and that will be taken for a strike.
Well, you talked about the defense, and of course the pitching has been the problem, and not only over the course of the year. Joe Nathan, with the elbow Tommy John surgery and whatever, but you want defense, and Romine can play defense.
It's only his 4th start at first base this season for the Tigers. By the way, we talked about Cabrera, Jimmy. We let him look. Without Cabrera, the Tigers are 9-15 coming into this game.
Yeah, he is here. He just, again, with the calf injury, and he said, I just don't know when I'm going to be able to play.
1-ball 2-strike delivery on the way, and just missed the corner.
Well, when Bud Norris won 15 games last year, he pitched well. The Orioles played well behind him, and he could dot that outside corner, righty and lefty, with the best of them. There was his pitching coach, Dave Wallace.
Romine 0 for 3 off Norris. 2-2. That one's going to miss full count.
You could see, target up and in, or at least thigh high on the inside part. He misses down, and that's weak between starts. He's also had some stomach issues pretty much all year long that he's been fighting.
And a swing and a miss. So Norris picks up a couple of strikeouts. He retires the side in order. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th with the Tigers on top by 5. Fire Chiefs and Maryland State Firemen's Associations. Email mdfirevolunteer@gmail.com to volunteer with your local fire, rescue, and EMS. Gary Thorne and Jim Palmer here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, where the Tigers have a 7-2 lead. A couple of runs in the first inning. J.D. Martinez with a double. 5 runs in the fourth inning. That ball goes to third, and that's that. Caught in the air. Castellanos and Machado have had busy days down there at third base. Scope is retired.
Yeah, a lot of guys out in front, and as we said, Alfredo Simon not throwing as hard as he's used to, so but it works. You know, you always talk about sometimes when you're really struggling, they're hitting the ball hard, and all you have to do is go out and watch BP. They know what's coming. They're popping them up, lining out. That's what just happened.
Here's Parmalee. He'll take it up. He popped out his first time up. Talked about Simon in the month of July. He's got the highest ERA in the majors in the month of July at 7.46. You wouldn't know it so far in this game.
Well, the other factor is they must have known it because they went out and got 7 runs early. Going if we have any chance at all, let's get some runs on the board.
1 ball, 1 strike count. Ball will be popped up first base. Romine. 2 down. These are not hard outs. On Sunday, August 16, when the O's take the Oakland A's on, the first 7,500 fans 14 and under are going to get the Chris Tillman Growth poster presented by Topps. See how your child measures up to the 6'5" O's hurler with this fun life-size poster. Perfect for young O's fans. For tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD.
I'm looking.
We got a place to put it up back there?
We got to have a place here in the booth.
Yeah.
I mean, I was saying that last night. Really? I mean, 6'5".
Yeah.
The poster's going to be 6 feet 5 inches.
6'5".
Really?
Yes.
It's a lot of paper.
Yeah. I'll now be able to measure my growth here in the booth.
Okay.
1-0 count. Caleb Joseph, 2 down, nobody on. Grounded out his first time up, and the pitch taken for a strike.
You know, when you're right about the soft outs and the pop-ups and out in front. Now everybody's going, wait a minute, we don't want to swing at the first pitch and pop it up. And he throws one right down the middle.
1-1. There's the eephus.
There it is.
64 miles an hour. Kinsler has it, and that's a 1-2-3 inning. We don't know where you are, Rip Sewell, but we're sure you got a ringside seat and you're smiling.
While rebooting, you never know from the Tigers hitters. Raji Davis with a bases loaded clearing double. And then Cespedes, smokes a home run. Deep left center field, 7-0 at the time. And then Adam Jones coming back. Walked the Reimold. Home run by Adam, 16th of the year to bring it to 7-2. Those are your Geico game highlights. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
Bud Norris ready to go to work. 1-2-3 inning. In the fifth for him, we go to the sixth. Rajai Davis, an impact player in this game. Base hit, a triple, 2 RBIs, and a run scored. Kinsler's got an RBI. Cespedes, a couple RBIs and a home run. Davis, 2 RBIs. And the pitch will be taken down low for a ball.
Well, that's another guy that I would imagine would be available. You know, a speedster, more of an offensive player, steal bases, and working with Anthony Goes to work on his defense.
Fouls that one back.
Go down the stretch, and you know, I suppose if they won 3, 4, 5 games in a row, hopefully the Orioles hope that's not the case. And it might be a team may not look as different as you might anticipate.
2 ball, 1 strike count. The names mentioned, one already gone today, Joakim Soria. Simon, the starter, is another one talked about. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Then Cespedes, Rajai Davis, and Alex Avila. 3 ball, 1 strike delivery, and a ground ball down to third. Manny Machado 360s it and gets it. And no easy task to get Rajai Davis. As promised earlier in the game, we selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo, O's Couch Cam, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Young ladies at the yard.
Yeah, Chris Davis t-shirt, and the lady on the right.
Good crowd here tonight on a real nice summer night here at Oriole Park. Kinsler's had a little bit of everything going in this game. He's got 2 hits and an RBI, thrown out trying to go first to third in the first inning, picked off after he got a single and an RBI in the 4th inning, and he's flied out. Manny Machado laid a tag on him and a toss from Chris Davis. It looked like it was going to be a very big play, and still may be, as the Tigers have had opportunities to score even more than the 7 runs they've got up on the board. 7-12-0 for the Tigers, 2-1-0 for the Orioles. Adams' home run, the only hit, and he waited on that one and puts it right where they weren't.
Well, you just don't have a better batting stroke than that. You know, it's a fastball outside, probably third quarter of the plate, and then very much like the slider he started the game with, shot it into right field. The home run numbers will go down, but average will go up. Runs scored. You know, every time I see Brady Anderson, I think, okay, here's a guy that stole 50 bases, hit 50 home runs, and he used to always talk as a leadoff guy. How many runs do you score leading off? Kinsler's very good at that.
Very good. Here's Iglesias up 1 down. 3-hit ball game for Kinsler, 3 for 4. Iglesias has got a 3-hit game, double, single. Kinsler, let's see what happens this go around. Earlier, first inning, Davis comes off the bag. Manny applies the tag and gets it. Then he gets picked off. Norris hadn't thrown a pitch, just came out of the bullpen and picks him off at first. Now he's on again.
Got a shorter lead, actually.
Yes. And a strike taken on the inside corner, Iglesias.
Well, if you play long enough, things like this happen, and you can be a good player, and he is. And he's one of their dynamic offensive players. Is really, I remember when he first came up, he stole 30, hit 30 home runs. But Dave Anderson was the infield instructor, and then Ron Washington down there made him he said, hey, this is not just a one-sided game. Turned himself into a very good defensive player.
Iglesias with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Already talked about the best in the majors in a 2-strike count, hitting .327. Pitch to him, little chopper, base hit if fair. Blow on it, no dice. An infield single down the line, and he's got his 3rd hit of the ball game.
And how do you do that? If you swing through it, it's a strikeout. If you hit it, even if you hit it meekly, weakly, wherever you want to describe it, you put the ball in play. When he was healthy with the Red Sox, he had 35 of them, 10 bunt hits. Now there's a luck factor. Go back to the Monday night game. The Orioles down 1-0 on the Garcia home run off of Jim Johnson. That's how the 9th inning, the tying runs scored by Adam Jones, a home run hitter.
Yep. Talking to Omar Vizquel, the first base coach, who had a few of those in his day. Here's Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes a base hit, a home run. 2 RBIs. He scored twice. Strike taken. That's 14 hits now in the ball game for the Tigers. They got another shot at it. 2 on and 1 out.
Yeah, when you have a good breaking ball, and of course the home run that Cespedes hit off of Norris was a fastball, but the slider is a pitch that you get the guys to strike out, but it's also a double play ball. But tonight there's a fastball that catches the bottom part of the plate. But Gary, tonight if you throw the slider, whether you're Norris or whether you're Miguel Gonzalez started the game, they just go the other way. So they're not rolling over. Either they're recognizing it, or I got to think Wally Joyner has done one heck of a job, which is why they lead the on-base percentage, highest average in baseball. It's not an accident.
Nope. They are 6 for 10 with runners in scoring position tonight. 0-2 pitch, make that 7 for 11. Jones will try and get the runner at the plate. Nope. Going to score the throw to second. So Kinsler will score from second base. Cespedes now has 3 RBIs, and he's got 3 hits in the ball game.
Yeah, it was rather obvious from the get-go, and that's the first batter when Kinsler hit a slider into right. If you can't command in and you want to go away, they're looking there. And that ball's not a bad pitch. It's just the approach is, I mean, incredible approach. 8 runs, 15 hits, and here we are with 1 out of the 6th inning.
In the 3-game series in Detroit, the Tigers only had 5 total hits with runners in scoring position in 3 games. They've got 7 in this game. And here is Martinez. Martinez a walk. He is lined out and he is flied out. Still only 1 down. 2 on. And the pitch down low for a ball. Iglesias at second base. Cespedes on at first. And Victor Martinez trying to join the crowd here. We said he's the only one in the lineup now who has either not had a hit or scored a run in the ball game. But Norris up to 44 pitches thrown, came on in the 4th inning, with Gonzalez going only 3 1/3 for the Orioles. 1-0 delivery on the way, and that will miss. Count goes to 2-0. It's a big 4-game series. The Orioles come in looking for a spot, first of all, in the wild card. They are just a game out in the wild card spot, and 6 behind the Yankees. That's the doable number. But they cannot go through another one of these troughs of losing 5 or 6 in a row. 2-0 delivery on the way, and that ball lashed to center field. Adam Jones will get there. Runners are halfway. Tries to go behind the runner. Not in time. Back on the bag is Iglesias. 2 down.
Yeah, you're right about that. And such a team game, and if you pitch well, which they've done in the month of July, under 500, you just don't hit well. It's good. Mike Bartik talks about it all the time when he's doing the games. If you just look, good offense in April, good offense in June, May and July, not so good. Pitching not so good in April, 500. And then since then, it's been outstanding in most cases. Tonight, not one of them, but
yeah, they've pitched their way to victories in the 5-game win streak. 2 away. Still 2 on. J.D. Martinez. He's already had a big night, working out a double and 2 RBIs in the 1st inning. Has flied out twice to center. Martinez now with 3 RBIs against the Orioles on the year. 1-0 count. Iglesias and Cespedes with a run in. Slider's going to miss outside. 2-0.
Yeah, Bud Norris again. It's been a week since he actually touched the ball on the mound in a game, and he's going, boy, I'd like to have better command, especially with this guy. I want to be in these counts.
2-0. Scope holding the runner at second. That ball lashed into the gap. Runners running on 2 down. Iglesias will come around to score. Cespedes is being waved home. Nope, they stop him at third. Throw, not in time, and he held the bag. So J.D. Martinez gets another double. That's his 2nd double and an RBI, his 3rd of the ball game, bringing Iglesias home.
Yeah, and it gets just another hanging slider, and it's just not going to get it done. You think it's okay, fastball count if there is that, and It may be the right pitch, but wrong location. J.D. Martinez in, and watch him hold the tag. He's going to tag, hope that he'll come off the bag. Well, maybe he didn't hold it. There, a little late. Almost did come off.
Tommy Hunter will get ready in the bullpen as Dave Wallace goes out to have a word. That's the 9th run of the ball game. 2 in. Here in the 6th inning as the Tigers just continue to pour it on.
Yeah, and I'm sure Dave Wallace is saying, okay, and he has compassion. I mean, he was a former pitcher. He knows what's going on. Bud's not Bud this year. I mean, really not at any time this year, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions starting in spring training. But try to get us an out here, because we do have games coming up. 3 more against the Tigers, as you mentioned.
Outside for a ball. Castellanos, a walk, a run scored, and he has struck out twice. Good day for the Nationals today. They beat the Marlins 1-0. Scherzer 11-8. No runs, 3 hits over 7. Jonathan Papelbon got the save. First outing with the Nationals, his 18th overall. And Storen was the setup man in that ball game, coming out of his closer position, which he was not happy about. Well, Ryan Zimmerman got the home run to win it.
Yeah, and just think back to when the Orioles went and got Andrew Miller last year. Did he have any problem pitching the 7th, 8th innings? Want to get to the postseason?
San Diego beat the Mets 8-7. Better day for the Nationals. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way inside. Jackknifes away from that. A 2 ball, 1 strike count. So the Nationals increased their lead to 3 games over the Mets in the National League East. Races right now, the American League West, where Houston moved ahead of the Angels coming into today's play-by game. That National League East race is going to go on. National League West one more time. Dodgers Giants separated by half a game. 2-1 delivery, and that'll be taken down low.
Well, at least to this point, the Dodgers seem to be the ones that have upgraded their team.
Giants are making kind of an amazing run. Yeah. Weren't expected to be this good a ball club.
Well, I'm looking at the numbers a couple of days ago, and I'm going, okay, who's this Chris Heston guy? He's 11-5. You know, Madison Bumgarner's because World Series star. They've had injuries.
Castellanos, 3-1 delivery to him, and he walked him. That may be it. 2 walks in the ball game for Norris. He's given up 4 runs since coming on. 5 charged to Gonzalez, the starter, and 4 to Norris so far. Tigers have runners on at first and second base. There are 2 down here in the 6th inning. This will be the 8th Tiger to hit. James McCann, their young catcher, 2 singles, and he is grounded out. So another chance for him.
Yeah, the only way they've gotten him out tonight is on the inner part of the plate. Both the hits away. And one of those open stance, front foot farther away from home plate. And there's the ball on the inside third of the plate. A little bit late on it.
McCann just turned 25 years old. Had a great talk with him in Detroit when the Orioles were there. Really fine young man. We had Buck Showalter and I were joking with one another before the ball game about how does a kid who was raised in Santa Barbara end up playing baseball in the south of Villanova. 0-1 delivery. So I went up and asked him, and Jim was just great about it. He said that's where the offers all came from the south. And as far as going to college to play baseball, he said when they asked me to go and play ball down south, he said I didn't even know where the state was. He said I had to look on a map, see where I was going. And that one put up in the air. That'll go foul. He played at the University of Arkansas. That's where he played. And he said I went there and made a visit. I fell in love with the campus, the coach, the people. They've got a great baseball facility at Arkansas. And he liked it so much he's bought a home there. And he goes there now and trains at the university in the off season.
Well, it seems to be working, whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
He's getting a chance to play, and then because he could catch.
0-2 the count with 2 down and 2 on. And the pitch outside. 1 ball, 2 strike count. But Norris up to 58 pitches thrown in relief. This is his second full inning, and had to get a couple of outs in the fourth. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And in the dirt, stop made by Joseph.
Real nice play by Caleb. Easily could have gotten to the backstop. And if you're sitting at home and you're going, okay, well, these are not that meaningful outs. They are, because if he gets out of this inning, it's not going to be easy, because the command really not there. It does allow you to sequence your way through the back end of the bullpen. Who needs work, who doesn't.
2-2 and a full count. So 3 ball, 2 strike count. Runners will be going. J.D. Martinez at second base. Castellano on at first. He'll take off here. Better chance to score. The bases loaded. Cespedes, the lead runner, over there at third base.
And you got to go to the Alfredo's Simon down the middle. Probably won't go there. Hope he pops it up, lines out at somebody.
Pitch on the way, goes to right field. Davis will put it away for the out. So a couple of runs in here in the 6th inning. Tigers extend their lead. Armaz the do-ups. Machado, Reimold, and Jones when we come back. Straight wins, 54 runs during that span. Last 8-game win streak, you got to go back to May, June of 2012. The last undefeated 8-game road trip was 1951. They're trying to have an 8-game road trip win with a victory tonight. They have not been at 500 since May 20. They're looking for their first 4-game sweep in Boston since 1927. And they're 2.5 games out of the wild card.
Well, the other factor is that we saw the Twins when they play well at home. Twins have gone the other way. They've gone the right way. And we know Robin Ventura is the manager. Do you think it was Ed Farmer or maybe Steve Stone that gave them the motivational?
Steve Stone.
No, Steve Stone.
Oh,
Stoney?
Steve. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Stoney absolutely went down there and rocked the boat. And now they're winning. Here's Manny Machado. Here's you want to see some warm-ups with vigor? Watch this.
Now you only get 9 of them, regardless of whether it's McCann made the last out, so he's getting his stuff on.
But of course, the warm-up is exactly the same thing he's doing in the game.
Well, you know what? The Orioles come out on the field about 8, maybe 4:15, 4:20, and then the pitchers go down the right field line and play catch. Everybody's going to be working on the defense tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm going to see about. What do they got? 13 pitchers, 12 pitchers. We're going to have 10 of them.
And up high.
And I'm not making fun of them because I mean, pitching. First of all, the Tigers done a great job getting them runs. The other thing is you change speeds, and he is doing that,
yes.
even though it's not
just the speeds are 62 and 71.
That's true, but every once in a while he'll throw in a 87 mile. He didn't exactly warm up the way you would think you'd warm up with a 9-2 lead and a long inning. But Jeff Jones is going, well, he worked early.
And he's working on a one-hitter. Here's the 3-1 delivery on the way, and that's going to be their first strike. So he comes back from 3-0 and takes it to 3-2. He went 15-10 last year. 3.44 ERA for Simon. This year the ERA's up a whole run, but he's still 9 wins, 6 losses on the year. Manny Machado 0 for 2. He's flied out and grounded out. Another eephus down to third base. Castellano. Well, that's a comeback from the beginning 3-0 count. Our Twitter chatter, all kinds of trade discussions still going on. Orioles talking to the Brewers about Parra. Phillies about Revere. Ben Revere. No deals are done. AAA Norfolk right-hander Zach Davis apparently part of the discussions from Rock Delaco.
You know, again, it's all about finding somebody that can play the outfield.
Yep.
And of course, if you get Ben Revere, leadoff guy, stolen base, and plus defender.
Pitch will be in the outside corner. We talked about the production in left field, which has not been there for the Orioles. And no Oriole has been out in left field for more than 3 consecutive starts since the end of June. But Showalter's just shuffled him in and out. The OPS is the 3rd lowest in the majors for the left field position. Only Atlanta and Anaheim of all teams.
And Anaheim just got 3 outfielders for that reason. Matt Joyce on the concussion list. He was under 200.
This has been a very busy trade season, trade week, really.
Well, the wild card, as you know, I mean, you know, that extra wild card really, it adds interest. It adds teams that still have, as you mentioned, what, 9 days ago, do you thought the White Sox were in the wild card? No, they went 7 in a row.
Ventura's job's on the line.
Samardzija's he's going to be a Yankee. Now all of a sudden he might be.
Might hang on. 2-1 strikeout. Reimold waiting on it. That will be fouled off. It is, of course, the wild card 1-game playoff to move on, but it's 1 game. It gets you there and gives you a chance. 2-2 strikeout. Nolan, of course, part of that group out there in left field this season. Kept out first part of the year. Injuries. This is just the 28th game he's played. Couple of home runs, 7 RBIs. 2-2 delivery in the air to center. Hit well, but Rajai Davis going back of the wall has room and makes the catch. 2 down. Let's take a look at our Lexus 1000 drive of the game.
Well, you talked about the Orioles only have 1 hit, and here it is. Walk to Reimold, 7-0 at the time, and then Adam with a 16th home run of the season.
Our drive of the game brought to you by Lexus 1000, the area's #1 volume Lexus dealer, 5 years running. See why at Lexus 1000.
Remember the 17-inning game in Boston? I know you do because we did it. We did. Chris Davis ended up pitching. Darnell McDonald, their center fielder, pitching against Chris Davis. Who hit the game winner? Adam Jones.
Adam Jones.
And the velocity was about the same as Simon's had tonight.
He likes the eephus. And the pitch will be outside. Home run, ground ball out. Adam trying to continue that 2 hit or better per game against the Tigers. He's done it for 5 consecutive. 1 hit so far, that home run tonight. 1-0 delivery on the way. Simon's pitch will be taken down low for a ball. We said the Orioles here in July, it's been a struggle offensively. 226 average, 14th in the league, 77 runs coming in, 14th in the league. 30 home runs, 6th in the American League for July. With that great ERA, 2.32 for the Orioles pitching this month. That is the 2nd best in the American League. Tiger bullpen. Kroll and Green's been up once before. Tommy Hunter has been ready for a couple of innings. Looks like he'll be coming in. 3-0 delivery on the way is going to be outside, so he'll draw the walk. Walk number 3 surrendered by Simon in the ballgame. 2 down and 1 on for Chris Davis.
Yeah, it's just been one of those years. Chris Davis, as we mentioned, he's had a nice July. 6 home runs. Adam with 6 home runs. So, and then you got Flaherty under 200, Parmalee under 200, Paredes under 200, and Snyder under 100.
Yep.
And a tough month for those 4 players. And of course, Buck Showalter plugging them in. Hopefully, they will get hot, and that's why they're all waiting for August.
Yeah. 2 down, a runner at first, shift on. And a bouncer at the plate. Talk about Davis and how much he likes hitting in this ballpark. He is tied for first in home runs for the American League players at their home ballpark. He's also second in RBIs in his home ballpark this year. Orioles could use one of those blasts right here, trailing 9-2. 1-0 delivery, and that will be up high.
I wonder if that'll be a factor being a free agent, if you'll take that in consideration. Great place to hit. Great town to live in. Integral part of the success they've had since he came over from the Rangers in that trade. 2011.
2-0 delivery on the way, and there it is, an off-speed pitch that he's well out in front of. 2-1.
Well, he's selling the off-speed stuff well. I mean, that's a nice little arm action. Reminded me of one of the great change-up pitchers when I came up, Stu Miller. To jerk the head, guys would be swinging before the ball even got there.
Lob toss hits him.
Wait a minute.
Adam Jones caught that one on the arm.
Wait, it's 9-2, and you think that Adam Jones is going to steal a base?
Fortunately for Adam, the toss was also soft. Nevertheless, it hurts.
Oh, of course. Why would you be thrown over there?
I have no idea. Here's the 2-1 delivery on the way to Davis. That'll be outside. And the count goes to 3-1. It's just what the Orioles need now. Base runners here in the 6th. There are 2 down, but get on. You got ladies waiting on deck.
You know, it's hard if you're Brad Osmus and you're managing the team. You're going, how am I going to know if he's really losing it?
Yeah.
Only when they get hits.
3-1 strike count. Jones off first, running. And here's one. High back in right field. And goodbye. Home run. Just what the Orioles needed. Chris Davis delivers the long ball for the 25th time. 2 RBIs off it, and it's 9-4.
Well, that's probably going to get exactly what the Orioles want, which is Brad Osmus to come out and go to the bullpen. So they crawl within 5 runs here in the 6th inning.
And there is Brad Osmus coming out to get his starter. Fred Ferguson, our Maryland lottery contestant, another $500. 2 home runs off Simon, and both of them have come after a walk. He walked Reimold in the 4th. Jones got one. He walks Jones in the 6th, and Davis gets one.
Yeah, well, you pitch to the scoreboard, so he doesn't want to walk another guy, and then you see it very quickly. Orioles are only 5 runs down.
Chris Davis is now 5th in the league in home runs. hits, but they both have been home runs with somebody on.
Well, Alfredo Simon, there's the 85 pitches. They do get him. The walks really didn't try to do it, but did. They hit the home runs, didn't strike anybody out, did not have great command, but did change speeds. Ian Krall comes on. They got him in the Doug Fister trade from the Nationals, 45 games last year. He's actually been pitching very well for him. Fastball, slider, changeup pitcher, and also a curveball. So again, the numbers kind of inflated, not a lot of innings. But again, over the the last 9 appearances, only been scored on 1 time.
So Krall comes on with the bases empty and 2 down, and Paredes at the plate. Paredes will go after the first pitch and foul it away. The Orioles DH.
Yeah, Krall up now for the 3rd time. So the Orioles get their wish to get to the Tigers bullpen, and we'll see if that makes a difference.
After Simon, anything Krall throws is going to look like it's going 190 miles an hour. 0-1 delivery on the way. And there are some managers who deeply believe in that. If you can get a starting staff where you got good fastball guy game 1 of a series, then you come into the middle and you got a guy that throws off speed, lefty junk pitcher who can control it, and then you come back in 3rd game with more heat. Well, it makes a difference.
The perfect example of 71 when Dobson, McNally, Cuellar, and myself, we all 120. They were all different.
Yeah.
And you could split them up.
Team never has a chance to catch up with what's coming to the plate when you have a staff like that.
And then also the guys aren't hitting on consecutive days if you platoon, so there's a lot of advantages to that. And then if you can pitch, which those guys could do, it makes it even tougher.
Brady's 0 for 2 in the ball game. A 1-ball 2-strike count on him. Jimmy goes to right, and that will fall in for a base hit. Eddie Martinez, a real good outfielder. Didn't look like he got a real good read on that one. So the Orioles get a man on again with 2 down here in the 6th inning. Take a look at our streaks page in our notebook. Right now, Parra's got 14. That's the high. J.J. Hardy and Carlos Sanchez with 12 each. Reaching base, Bryce Harper 26 consecutive. Joey Votto at 20. Jose Reyes at 19 in the streaks department. And that's going to be it for Krall. So Brad Ausmus will try and match it up. Krall works no part of an inning and gives up a hit. The Orioles have 2 runs in and are trying for more here in the 6th.
The bullpen because really struggling as a starter. 7-4-5, 7-5, 5 runs over his last 6-7 starts. So they move to the bullpen. As we mentioned earlier, Soria, their closer, not here tonight. This game is not over. A lot of runs being scored, but there is no guarantee the way Shane Green has pitched. He's going to come in and slam the door. Look at the lefty numbers. They bring him in to match up, but we'll see if that is effective. He came over from the Yankees. It was 5-4, part of a 3-team deal where he ends up in Detroit. Didi Gregorius goes from But Arizona to be the shortstop when Jeter retires, but he has not pitched the way that we've seen him pitch in the past.
Now this is his first relief appearance this year. It is only his second relief appearance ever. Last year he pitched one game out of the bullpen for the Yankees. He went down to AAA to the Mud Hens in Toledo for a full month and has just been recalled.
And what Brad Ausmus, and then a former catcher, his manager, said maybe we can match him up a little bit better. I'm not sure this is a great matchup with JJ and the 12-game hitting streak, but it's righty versus righty.
Hardy will take the pitch outside for a ball. The game is never over with the Orioles offense and this Tiger pitching, which has been really bad. Blaine Hardy out of the bullpen. Tiger starters and bullpen have both been bad. Their starter ERA is 14th rather, and so is their relief pitching 14th in ERA. 1-0 delivery, runner at first. Hardy's got a 13-game hit streak, and more importantly, the Orioles have got another base runner here in the 6th, 2 on and 2 out.
Yeah, Gary, what happens though, you come in and you know you've really been struggling, and that's been the case. And you miss with a slider. What do you think JJ's looking for? A fastball. And he gets it, and there's 13 games as far as hitting.
And the Orioles making this very interesting.
And if you're sitting at home, you go, oh, we want a 3-run home run. I'll tell you, how about just doing what the Tigers did? Loop one in, find a gap, and then all of a sudden you'll see.
Keep the inning going.
Yeah, Ausmus coming out to maybe bring in somebody else.
See, the Orioles only their third chance with a runner in scoring position. There are 2 down. 2 runs in here in the 6th. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball. Block made. Cam will hold the runners. For Jonathan Scope, he is grounded out and lined out. Gets his first look at the 26-year-old right-hander Shane Green.
It's one of those pitches which was a pitcher's pitch. If you're the Orioles, you're glad that he swung through it, because that was an out pitch.
Oh, 1 count. And came inside with it and will miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Orioles now with 4 hits in the ball game. 3 of them have come in this inning. Back to back to back. The Davis home run, 2 RBIs. Paredes a single. Hardy a single. Only hit before that had been the Adam Jones 2-run homer in the 4th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Green's delivery on the way, and a out in front foul ball over by the Tiger dugout. And a 1 ball, 2 strike count from Shane Green.
Yeah, with the Yankees, he was almost 2-1 ground ball to fly ball. That number, more fly balls this year, obviously more runs.
2 years with the Tigers as a starter, 16 games, 4 and 8 with an ERA of 6.7. That's why he got moved to the bullpen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners off first and second. Scope takes it inside a bit.
And you could see James McCann behind the plate going, oh, wait a minute, calm down. Hanging slider. Hung out of the zone. Move it over about a foot, and might have had a 3-run home run with that type of pitch.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Infield shifted around with Kinsler almost behind second. 2-2. Kinsler backs off, and a swing and a miss. So Green comes on, gets the strikeout to end the inning, but the Orioles pick up a couple of runs as Davis crushes another one, his 25th, bringing home Jones ahead of him, and it's a 9-4 Tiger lead. Farmer. Our coverage on Masson 2 begins at 6:30 O's Extra, presented by Southwest, followed by our game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on Masson.
So Tommy Hunter comes in. A lot of fastballs, sliders, and curveballs. Changeup 1%. Not very many. Started to pitch well. Over the last 33 outings. Struggled early in the month of April, as pretty much the whole Orioles staff did, but only 12 earned runs in his last 40 innings. Again, pretty good numbers. Doesn't walk anybody. You got to earn your way on. And his job, as Bud Doris couldn't do it, was to try to keep the score right here.
Swing and a foul ball as Romine goes after the first pitch. A base hit, a sacrifice, and he has struck out. 9 runs on 16 hits in the ball game for the Tigers. 4 and 4 for the Orioles. Hunter's 0-1 delivery on the way. That'll be on the inside corner for a strike. For Tommy this season against the Tigers, 1 appearance. He worked only 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, and had a strikeout in that ball game in Detroit. Romine on a check swing holds up on it. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Romine, Raja Davis, and Kinsler at the top of the order. 7 left on by the Tigers, 3 by the O's so far. Little roller. Hunter going over to cover. Flip will go to him. Tommy gets there, and Parmalee gets it to him. Tickets are now on sale for the Orioles Hall of Fame luncheon. It'll be Friday, August 14, beginning at noon in the Warehouse. The luncheon will honor Melvin Mora, Gary Renicky, John Lowenstein, and Fred Ullman Sr. before they are honored that evening during the special on-field ceremonies prior to the Orioles 7:05 game. Tickets for the luncheon are available by calling 410-247-2703, or you can go to Orioles.com for more information. 1 away, 7th inning. Raja Davis, a important triple picked up in the 4th inning, 2 RBIs, and then he would come across the score in a Kinsler single. He's 2 for 3 in the ball game. Tigers piling up the hits. Hunter's pitch to him, fouled away.
Yeah, 97. It's amazing. The Orioles bring Dave Wallace, Dom Chidi over. Tommy became last season kind of a cutter, curveball, high fastball pitcher. Amazing when you change the grip on a baseball. All of a sudden you go from a fly ball guy to a guy that can get a little bit different action on your ball. Used to be pretty much almost 50-50. Since, remember Dom Chidi, the bullpen coach for the Orioles, saying the fly ball is the relief pitcher's worst enemy. You turn it over a little bit, a little bit different run on it, more grounders, cutter a thing of the past. And you become more proficient throwing double plays. And of course, Tommy's always had excellent control.
2 ball, 2 strike count on Raja Davis. Raja has faced Chris Davis 12 times, 4 for 12 off Tommy Hunter. And that pitch will be down low. So the count goes to 3-2. Tigers got out early. A couple of runs in the 1st inning. A big 5-run 4th. Added 2 more in the 6th. The Orioles had only 1 hit through the first 5 innings. That was the 2-run homer by Adam Jones. Davis a 2-run homer in the 6th inning. And the Orioles cutting that lead down to 9-4. Adam getting his 16th. Davis his 25th.
Yeah, and all those runs, 9 of them, and all those hits with only 2 base on balls.
Yep.
So they earned it. Wow.
Three ball, 2 strike count. Shaded to right in the outfield, and Davis will go the other way a lot, and it's fouled off. Norris worked 2 2/3, 4 runs, 6 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Gonzalez, the starter, 3 1/3, 5 runs, 10 hits, a walk, and a strikeout.
Well, this whole at bat right here is kind of an indication of best average team, best on base percentage. Cut your swing down. Maybe you'll find a hole, keep it in play, make the pitcher work.
Set up outside. 3-2 was in. That ball is deep. Raimel going back, and he'll put it away in the warning track. 2 down. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Oh. Remember when you used to dance like that? No.
Vaguely.
Vaguely.
Wow. Loves that T-shirt, that J.J.
Yes.
Hardy T-shirt, didn't he?
Yes, indeed. Gives you a whole new life. JJ, you're responsible for that.
Were they playing the Beach Boys between innings? Let's go surfing now. I mean, the guy looked like he was trying to ride a wave.
I think it was a disco song, actually, that was on there during that half inning. Here is Ian Kinsler, top of the order. He's already had a 3-hit ball game. 3 singles, an RBI, a run scored, picked off, thrown out at third. And the last time up, he made it all the way around with a little help from his teammates. Kinsler pumping that average up a little bit more than the 285 mark now. He can score runs. Hunter's delivery to him, and that's going to be down low. Kinsler with a 1 for 8 lifetime off the Oriole reliever. 3 hits in this ball game. On the year now, Kinsler's had 5 hits against the Orioles. 5 for 13. Ball and 2 strikes. We're in the 7th inning. Orioles have battled enough offensively to get back into the ball game. 1-2 delivery on the way down low.
Yeah, well, Kinsler, one of those guys that, again, this year not hitting a lot of home runs, but he's a fly ball hitter. Don't see a whole lot of those guys anymore.
Nope.
It's more fly balls than on the ground.
2-2 will be fouled off to hold the count. A dirt dog, as you see, and that's a high compliment. One of the best dirt dogs, went into the Hall of Fame this past weekend. Craig Biggio never played, I don't think, more than 1 inning with a clean uniform, and that was the first half of the inning he went to the field in. 2-2 pitch on the way, jammed him, and he fights it foul.
Yeah, that ball probably about 4 inches inside. He was still able to make contact. Yeah, we of course saw Craig Biggio down when the Orioles played Houston, but he came up as a catcher. That's even a dirtier dog.
Well, how about an all-star catcher, an all-star second baseman, and then a very good outfielder?
Over 3,000 hits.
2 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way, and that one goes to center. Jones. Adams there and puts it away. So Tommy Hunter comes on a 1-2-3 inning, 7th inning stretch time at Camden Yards. We're more in a position where we're not giving up in the sense you don't try to win every day, but in our position we look at us more as rebooting going into next year. And from the Detroit News, Bob Wojnarowski, who covers them, says Grabowski is in his final year of his contract, and while it's not unprecedented to be unsigned this late in the season, it's a bit curious. And you can bet if Dombrowski is under scrutiny, so is Brad Ausmus, who is the manager. The second-year manager can't be in charge of a total collapse and expect to keep his job no matter how many pieces get dealt away.
So he wins 90 games in his inaugural year.
What have you done for me lately? A base hit. Parmalee has. So the Orioles started out with a leadoff single, 7th inning. And Jim, the trade deadline coming up here in the final day of the month, and the trades continue to go on. Today it was David Price. Blue Jays get him. Daniel Norris will pitch against the Orioles on Sunday, apparently. Yarrow Lebrant and Matt Boyd.
Yeah, and again, one of the great stories of the National League are the Pirates. So they're trying to get better. They get Soria.
Closer Joaquin Soria. Yeah. And more to come around Major League Baseball, it looks like.
Well, when you lose Scherzer, he signs for what, $210 million with the Nats, 18-game winner, and Verlander gets hurt.
Ground ball towards third base. Messiano, one relay first, not going to get it.
So Verlander gets his first win yesterday, only 32. And then you trade for Green, and he doesn't pitch well, and you get all kinds of things. If you want to blame the manager and the general manager, I suppose somebody's got to be the scapegoat. Then Cabrera gets hurt. Victor Martinez blows out his knee, has to have knee surgery. There are a lot of factors. But I guess probably Dave Dombrowski, if he's going to be back, will say we're not that far from, again, being a good ball club. But, you know, the one team they have to always worry about if you play in the American League Central are the Royals,
who have put themselves together as an organization. They're now about as deep and solid as any team. Caleb Joseph, first base, one down. Manny Machado takes the pitch for a strike. 0 for 3 in the ball game for Manny. Machado's gone 4 for 14 against the Tigers this year, including a home run. 2 RBIs against Detroit. The Orioles either need that one big inning or keep chipping away. 0-1 count. Short lead at first base. Machado will go to center. Coming over. Rajai Davis, base hit. Throw for the force out. And not in time, but close. Caleb Joseph gets in ahead of the throw by Davis.
Yeah, and Brad Ausmus is going to look just to see. I mean, this is bang, bang. Don't want to get doubled up down by 5, but right here, he's got pretty good speed, but nice play. And then even a more exceptional stretch by the shortstop.
Well, we'll get a visit to the mound here.
Well, if you're Jeff,
this is where playing a man short in the bullpen in this kind of game could matter.
Well, you got Blaine Hardy getting up. This will be the second time, but you also have to understand who you're bringing in. You mentioned first time in the bullpen. I mean, really having a dreadful last, 2 months of the season. Certainly can't have confidence. I mean, you're just not confident when they keep hammering the ball all over the ballpark, and that's been the case.
So Shane Green, after a brief visit.
Well, he's a ground ball pitcher when he's pitching well, and I'm sure Jeff Jones said, hey, throw me a grounder. Now, he was able to get out of the last inning on a breaking ball, but he just hung one to Manny Machado. So he probably doesn't know, because he struggled so much, what he does best.
Big chance for the Orioles. Only one down here. Orioles 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Not many chances. Tigers have had 14. And the pitch will be outside for a ball. Reimold a walk and a run scored. 0 for 2. Orioles leadoff single. Parmalee out on the fielder's choice. Joseph, who's now at second, moved up by Machado, who's got the base hit at first.
The other thing about Nolan Reimold, he does make you throw strikes. Normal at bat.
And a swing and a miss and a good pitch.
Just a minute I say that, he chases a pitcher's pitch. And again, one of those sliders you don't want to put in play. It was too good, but he swung at it.
Reimold limited chances, 4 for 12 in these situations this year. 1 ball, 1 strike. Orioles now with 6 hits in the ball game. And a chance here in the 7th inning to cut that lead. 1-1 delivery on the way. Reimold will take. It'll just miss. 2-1.
Yeah, Eric Cooper more of the high strike variety. That low slider becomes a ball.
McCann froze that for a minute trying to get a call. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Pitch by Green. That is a strike. Kept it down 2-2.
Yeah, that's where he tops out at 92, and pretty good sinking action. The ball run to Seamer. Starts outside corner, runs to the outside portion of the plate.
Green's first appearance against the Orioles this year. First time as a reliever. 2-2 delivery on the way, and a swing and a miss as he throttled back on it.
Yeah, the perfect slider. The only good news for the Orioles and Nolan Reimold is that I mean, this is a double play ball. I mean, perfect slider. You can usually get a ground ball, but he gets the strikeout. Great angle right here. Starts on the corner, just off the corner.
So Adam Jones will come up. The Orioles in that 6th inning scored their 2 runs with 2 down. In fact, they got 4 on base with 2 away and got 2 of them in. Adam Jones delivering his 16th home run in the 4th inning after Reimold had walked ahead of him. 2 on 2 away now. Green's delivery is going to be outside for a ball. And here's a very big at bat. Adam is 2 for 9 off Shane Green. The Orioles saw Green as a starter with the Yankees. He has a 2-1 record against the Orioles as a starter. 1-0 delivery on the way. That's going to be down low. McCann stopping that one.
Yeah, you just want to put, and as we look again, the Tigers pitching coach Jeff Jones, you just want to put Brad Ausmus into a position where, okay, who's going to be our closer? Is it going to be Phillies? Is it going to be Alex Wilson? And a base hit here, right here, will probably won't be closing here in the 7th, but certainly test the bullpen.
So delivery on the way. That's going to miss. So a 3-0 count with Chris Davis, the on-deck batter. The Orioles 2 home run hitters in the ball game, Jones and Davis. Adam with a 3-0. Pitch by Green. It'll be taken for a strike.
A 3-0 slider. Wow. And not only does he throw it, he throws it for a strike. I mean, it's perfect. You're not looking for it. Adam's just trying to get on base, drive one if he can.
3-1, 2 down. Joseph, Machado, the base runners. Adam with the big cut will foul it back. Full count, 3-2. Who would have thought get to the 7th inning? Orioles get a couple on, but it would be a key moment in the game after the Tigers jumped out on a 7-0 lead at one point. That's what this is. Runners will go on delivery. 3-2 pitch, and they'll do it again.
So you go 3-0, and then you come back with 3 consecutive sliders. Anything other than the fastball. And Miguel Gonzalez, who struggled, started the game.
3-2 again. Everybody deep infield and outfield looking to cut off gaps and give themselves a chance in the infield on a hard hit ball. Green with a 3-2 again. Jones again.
Make it 4 sliders in a row. Yes, Cespedes, as we mentioned, great arm and left, and Martinez can throw in White, short porch. Davis, not so good an arm.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at bat. 30,136, 136 in attendance and making some noise. Third time, 3-2. Runners go. We'll do it again. Just enough to foul it off and keep the at-bat alive on Green. Ninth pitch coming up.
Yeah, Gene Lamont, the bench coach, talking on the right, saying it's 5 straight sliders. They're all close enough to swing it. Well, obviously, it's his pitch of choice.
Adam, a .320 lifetime hitter against the Tigers. With 7, now 8 career home runs against them. 2 of them this year. 1 tonight. 3-2 again. And walking. So Adam Jones, with a 9-pitch at bat, draws the walk to load the bases. And now we have an even bigger at bat. Brad Ausmus will head out. Kroll and Green already have come out of the bullpen in relief of Alfredo Simon.
Got a cutter, got a slider, got a changeup, as you see, and got a nice job. Getting lefties out very well for him. And again, last 42 outings, and that's over 41 in the third innings. He's only given up 7 runs. Well, this is a matchup. Chris Davis, actually a better average hitter. .283 against lefties, 5 of his 25 home runs.
0 for 1 against Blaine Hardy. The bases are loaded. There are 2 down. Davis will take the breaking ball in there for his strike. He has walked, struck out, picked up his 25th home run in the 6th inning, good for 2 RBIs. One of the best numbers of inherited runners not scoring belongs to Hardy, 4th in the American League in that regard. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Went outside with it and just missed on it, and a 1-ball 1-strike count.
Yeah, the big hook, and then tried to hit the outside corner.
See, the Orioles have loaded him up. Joseph fielder's choice. Manny Machado a base hit, the walk to Jones. And an enormously important at bat here in the 7th inning. 1-1 delivery. Davis going to get a base hit into center field. Joseph will score. Machado will score. Throw to the cutoff man, and the Orioles add 2, and they've made it a 9-6 ball game.
Yeah, not automatic anymore. .283 batting average. He gets a pitch to hit, takes the curveball, takes the fastball. But take a look right here. I mean, pretty good breaking ball right here. Late break, tries to hit the corner, misses. And then a hanging slider. This speeds the bat up, and they're playing the shift. Well, maybe not as much as some other teams do. And then Roger Davis just throws it over everybody right to the third base Castellanos.
So a 4 RBI ball game for Chris Davis. And the Orioles are making it really interesting. And Matt Wieters is going to come up as the pinch hitter. This is the 4th time this year Chris Davis has had a 4 RBI ball game. Runners are on at first and second. Adam Jones stopping at second base.
So you go to Monday night. Luis Avalon comes on in the 11th inning, 1-1 ball game, and Matt goes yard right center walk-off.
For Paredes, Matt takes over the DH role. Hardy's pitch to him will be taken for a strike. For Matt this season, 212 right-handed, 267 left. Of the 4 home runs, 2 from each side of the plate.
Yeah,
they do put a shift on.
Yeah, and you can DH him in case Joseph would get hurt.
Down to third. Castellanos can't get it. Adam Jones will come around to score. Should be a base hit for Wieters and an RBI, and it is a 2-run ball game.
Yeah, we saw Alex Wood pitch for the Braves the other night. The only guys that really had good breaking ball were good swings with Matt Wieters, and this is what he gets. Look at this curveball, stays up, bullet. And Nick Castellanos, I mean, he doesn't have time to get out of the way. Ball goes off his glove, and here comes Adam Jones.
So the Orioles putting on a rally here in the 7th, right off the arm and leg. And another reliever will be coming on as Osmus goes to the mound to get Hardy.
.56% of the time. He's gone through shoulder surgery, elbow surgery to come to the big leagues. He's done a nice job for him. So if you're J.J. Hardy, and I'm sure that Scott Coolbaugh, the Oriole hitting instructor, saying, you know, he loves the slider. J.J. knows that.
What an inning for the Orioles. A 9-7 ball game. Runners at first and second base, 2 down. Hardy a single, 13 game hit streak. He will take the pitch for a strike. He has faced Albuquerque only once, 0 for 1 against him. And you are seeing what the Detroit Tigers season is looking. They can score runs in bunches, but they can't get people out. That will be foul back. Not their starters and not their bullpen. Well, the Orioles mounting a tremendous comeback. O'Day getting up in the Oriole bullpen. Matt Wieters, that was an RBI and a base hit for Matt in a pinch hitting role. 0-2 delivery. Hardy will foul that one away.
Yeah, 92, 93 with the fastball, and then the slider mid-80s. The amazing J.J. Hardy designed T-shirt night, big glove on the T-shirt, and then he ends up whacking one up the middle or into the gap, tie the game up.
0-2 delivery. Hardy takes it, and Albuquerque got one in there. So Albuquerque will get a very big strikeout.
Now taking a look at the late life here. Ball runs back outside corner. McCann catches it perfectly, and for the moment they get out of the inning.
The Orioles have made it more than interesting. Wieters helping out with a pinch hit RBI, and it's a 9-7 game.
Strong throw, sustained tag, and Kinsler the first out of the ball game. As it turned out, the Tigers would get 2 runs in that inning. Could have been a lot worse.
No, the Orioles, they're right there, and relying now on Tommy Hunter to hold them down. Jones, Davis, Wieters. Big nights offensively for the Orioles. Breaking ball is in there for a strike. Tommy Hunter retired the side in order in the 7th inning. Jose Iglesias, 3-hit ball game, 2 singles, double, 3 runs scored, and he's hit into a double play. Iglesias up the middle, Hardy over, gets in front, gets it. 1 away. We're in the 8th. Follow the Orioles wherever you are with MLB.com at bat, #1 app for baseball. At bat up to the moment at any moment. In-game highlights, look-ins, replays, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet.
Iglesias makes a routine ground ball to shortstop a sprint.
He can run, can he?
Well, he gets out of the box so quickly.
So with 1 away, shift will be put on against Cespedes. He's had a 3-hit game, 2 singles, a home run, 3 RBIs. He's got 18 home runs on the season now, and he'll foul that one back. One down in the 8th.
Yeah, the home run, left center, and the 2 other hits to right field, but not on the ground.
Cespedes with a 3 for 7 and a home run off Tommy Hunter. 0-1 count on him. First 7 runs in this game were scored by Texas for the Orioles. Scored by Detroit, rather. Before the Orioles got a couple to make it a 7-2 ball game, and then Tigers came back, got a couple more to make it 9-2, and the Orioles have since responded with 5 unanswered runs. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Orioles playing their 101st game of the season. Making hay at home all year. 30-18 here at Camden Yards. 5-game win streak they're trying to extend. in this first of 4 against the Tigers. If they could come back and win this game, it would be their biggest comeback of the season. 1-1. Cespedes reaching, fouls it back.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that this young man never gets cheated from the day that he arrived in the big leagues with Oakland.
He's an exciting player. He's an exciting player. And one of those people, when he comes to the plate or balls hit to him in the outfield, if you're not watching, you start watching. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Jonathan Scope moves over to the second base side of the bag now because of the count. And a great pitch. Buried that one.
Yeah, 97 with 2 seams. And we talked about, again, you hold it with the seams, you get more movement. Watch this ball dive. Go straight down. Cespedes, of course, trying to golf it, hit the home run on a low fastball, but doesn't catch up with this one.
So the strikeout will be the first for Tommy Hunter. Not had a lot of those in the ball game. Oriole pitchers have struck out 4, and the same for the Tiger pitchers. Victor Martinez, 2 down, nobody on. Martinez a walk, 0 for 3, and the pitch is in there for a strike.
Yeah, it's pretty predictable if you can throw that kind of fastball. If you hit it where it's going to go, down and away, 95 with that kind of life. There's no way Victor Martinez, who is very quick inside. I mean, if you make a mistake up and in, he'll turn on it. But down and away, he's got to hit it to the other way if you can make the pitch.
And that is down and away at 95. Toronto over KC in a ball game, 5-2. Navarro, a couple of RBIs. Morales, 2 RBIs. Duffy gave up 5 runs, 6 hits, 6 innings for the Royals. Estrada, Toronto, 2 runs, 3 hits, 5 2/3. A chopper back to Tommy Hunter. Plenty of time. And the flip, and he got it. Retires the side in order, 6 in a row, set down by Hunter. Our Honda do-ups. It'll be Scope, Parmalee, and Joyce as the Orioles try and continue a comeback. Al Ripken Jr. and Tony Gwynn inducted into the Hall of Fame on this date in 07. 75,000 on hand, a record crowd, and 53 Hall of Famers. And there's the plaque up for Cal, the 19-time All-Star, 2-time AL MVP, the career batting average, 431 home runs, 1695 in the RBIs. Cal. And there's Eddie, also in the Hall, but not that year. A tremendous crowd. Foul back, and Jonathan Scope leading it off with a strike. Romine moves from first to third, and Avila will come into play at first base again with Cabrera out. We said they've moved some players in and out of that first base position. Avila and Romine are 2 of them, as Osmus tries to put out his best defensive alignment.
And the Orioles are looking for, at least initially, a base run.
Jonathan Scope, check swing foul. He is 0 for 3 in the ballgame. Albuquerque doing the pitching, came on to get a strikeout to end the 7th. Orioles sent 8 to the plate in the 7th inning, getting 3 runs on 4 hits, leaving 2. And another one fouled straight back.
Well, for right-handed batters, I mean, he's so effective because he's got that slider. And then last 30 appearances, 36 strikeouts, so he can strike you out. That's how he got out of the last inning. Perfect fastball outside corner to J.J. Hardy.
Bullpen struggling. It was Green charged with 3 runs, 3 hits in an inning. Kroll, no part of an inning, a hit. Hardy, no part of an inning, 2 hits.
You've seen one of the more consistent umpiring jobs by Eric Cooper tonight. I think the hitters know the strike zone, pitchers know them. Very consistent.
1-2 delivery on the way, will be outside. Scope not biting. Jonathan takes it to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Trying to bring the potential tying run to the plate, something I think most fans looking at this ball game back midway through thought probably would not happen. 2-2 and it's bounced 3-2.
Yeah, not what he wanted to do. I mean, not even close. One of those stumble a ball out of your hand.
Albuquerque has had in his stint in the bullpen with the Tigers problems with control. 3-2 count. Scope will rip it, and that's going to bring that potential tying run up. So Jonathan Scope is on a base hit, bottom of the 8th inning, and the Orioles with a chance to get this thing tied up or better now in the 8th.
Yeah, and what happens, Gary, is that you pitch to the scoreboard. You don't want to walk anybody with a 2-run lead. You get that at 2-2, making even a close pitch. You run it to 3-2, and then Jonathan Scope gets a good hittable pitch and doesn't miss it.
And here is Parmalee, who is 1 for 4 lifetime off Albuquerque. He is 1 for 3 tonight, a base hit.
And they're out of lefties in their bullpen.
Yes. Won't be matchups.
Yeah, you got Rodon, who throws about 100, and then you got Alex Wilson and Phillies, who's got a power arm.
Strike on the outside corner to Parmalee. There is Alex Wilson. O'Day's ready to go for the Orioles. Orioles now with 9 hits. Tigers 15 and blasted foul. Boy, that's out of the yard. It's foul. You don't see many go out of the ballpark down in that corner.
Well, it was in off the plate, so if you don't hook it foul, you're going to go get another bat.
Gonzalez shaking his head. A long time ago, he was the Orioles starter, giving up 5 runs on 10 hits in 3 1/3 innings. 0-2 count. This Parmalee waiting on it, jumped at it, and fouls it right straight back. Count will stay at 2 strikes. Well, what a comeback by the Orioles, and the pressure really on, even though the Orioles trail by 2, pressure really on the Tigers staff now with what's remaining of them. Oh, 2 pitch to Parmalee.
Yeah, good
Takes
take.
it.
Better low ball hitter. We saw that the last time when he singled into right field. And he's looking, well, with 2 strikes, he's just looking to protect. And we told you about the fact that the batting average have been in the 160s here in July because he's become a pull hitter. When he first came up out of AAA, because in all those opt-outs, he used the whole field. That's been a little more difficult for him.
Left-handers 230 off Albuquerque. Right-handers 263. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Jonathan Scope making sure he's close enough at first to get back. 1-2 delivery on the way. Parmalee takes it and he's gone. 2 strikeouts in the 3 batters face for Albuquerque.
Yeah, give up the base hit, and now, of course, there you go. Just a slider that filters down pretty much right in the, I mean, it fell high right in the middle of the plate. But he's got a good slider. And of course, Parmalee thought it might have been off the plate, but it wasn't.
One down. Joseph 0 for 3. Couple on the ground, one pop out. In the dirt. And over to block it. Caleb Joseph has been one of the best of the Oriole hitters in the so-called late inning pressure situations. He has come through with some key hits in Oriole ball games this season. And this is one of those situations.
Yeah, even Tuesday, 2-out base hit. The Orioles' 7th run.
And he'll take it away 2-0.
And then the 2-run home run on Sunday afternoon. The Orioles a 3-run lead early in the game. Obviously you'd like to hit a home run, but you got to think middle of the field. And again, look for your pitch. If you want to look on this pitch inside half, try to get out in front of one, fine. But
2-0 delivery, 3-0. Top of the order, Manny Machado on deck.
Yeah, if Caleb Joseph can get on, the Orioles will get exactly. It may not turn out the way they want it, but they'll get exactly what they've been looking for since it was, what, 7-0?
Chance to get a lead.
Yeah, the top of the order coming up.
Joseph, 3-0 delivery. Takes it. It's a strike. I'm just trying to get on here. Count goes to 3-1, one down.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those counts. It's all right to look outside half, inside half, 3-1. Just don't swing at a pitcher's pitch. So if you think you can get on that 92-mile-per-hour fastball, look inside.
And he walked it.
Yep.
And the Orioles will bring the potential go-ahead run to the plate in the person of Manny Machado. And here comes Brad Ausmus again. 4 relievers have worked in the ball game, and as has been true most of the year, they have been ineffective. Wilson has had plenty of time to warm up. He'll be coming on, and so will Manny Machado.
Only with the Red Sox. I mean, power arm in 92-93, hard cutter. Also got a breaking ball, so he's been arguably, other than Soria, who got traded today, the closer, their best bullpen. So he will come in as you really get into crunch time now with the potential go-ahead run at home plate, which is Manny Machado. The cut fastball, they kind of a pitch he started throwing last year, and it's been very effective. So the Orioles now get to the heart of their lineup.
Manny Machado has faced Wilson only once, 0 for 1. Orioles have seen him this year in a couple of ball games in Detroit. He worked 2 1/3 innings. No runs, couple of hits off him. 2 on, 8th inning. Leadoff single by Jonathan Scope. He's at second base. The walk to Joseph. He's at first. Machado, a base hit, a run scored. He is 1 for 4. Orioles 2 for 7 in these situations tonight. Machado will take the pitch for a strike. We're looking at the 5th reliever to be used by the Tigers. 4 runs off the starter, Simon. 3 runs off Green, the 2nd reliever.
Of course, when you mentioned how the bullpen has struggled, and the sports writers on Brad Ausmus, asking him why you haven't gone to Alex Wilson more often.
Home plate umpire is signaling somebody in the seats right behind home plate for reasons of which I do not know. 0-1 count. Gets away. Runners will move up. Chance at second base. A one-hopper is stopped by Kinsler. Wild pitch.
Just what the doctor ordered. Chan did everything to keep it in front of him, but he just bounces a slider. I mean, he throws it straight down. I mean, he gets on top of it and then tries to somehow backhand. Look how far outside it is, and of course it's also almost 90 miles per hour.
Second wild pitch of the season for Wilson, and the Orioles have 2 in scoring position. There are the numbers tonight. This at bat, change all that. Manny Machado will go to short. Play's got to be made at first. Flip by Iglesias will record the out. It'll be an RBI for Machado, and this is now a 1-run ball game, 9-8.
Would have liked to have done more, but Wilson makes a good pitch. Routine ground ball, gets that 8th run.
Well, Manny Machado with the RBI, and the potential tying run moves over to third base. Manny now with 52 runs batted in. Orioles have Chris Davis at the top in that department. He's added 4 in this ball game. He's got 69 on the year. 2 down. And the pitch taken for a strike. Nolan Reimold 0 for 3 and a walk, and a run scored in the game. 1 run in. And there is the potential tying run at third. Caleb Joseph. Pitch will just miss. Run will be charged to Albuquerque.
And then of course, Nolan Reimold, it's Lacy, a premier fielder, but the speed factor does come into play with 2 outs in the potential tying run at third. Any high chopper could be a base hit.
Pitch on the way. Ground ball to short. Iglesias up short, hopped it, and gets the out. So we have completed 8. The Orioles will get a run. They do it on a hit, a walk, ground ball out, and make it a 9-8 ball game. Book your low fare now at Southwest.com and by visitAnnapolis.org. Find the Chesapeake experience at visitAnnapolis.org. Gary Thorne and Jim Palmer at Camden Yards. What an interesting ball game. Tigers still have the lead 9-8. Orioles have made a huge comeback and not done yet.
Yeah, so Darren O'Day, the guy you'd want to come in, try to hold him right here, give him a finish in the 9th inning. Another outstanding year. Only the one loss that came down in Tampa Bay last Friday in a ball game. He came in with a 1-0 game. So again, righties way low, lefties a lot better than last year. And again, the occasional home run. So come in, get 3 outs, and see what can happen in the 9th.
So the Tigers bat with J.D. Martinez, Avila, and the catcher McCann due up in the top of the 9th inning. Great job by Tommy Hunter. Couple of innings with a strikeout. Retired all 6 that he faced. The last 7 Detroit Tigers have been retired. 0-1 count. J.D. Martinez, a double and an RBI last time up. 2 RBI double in the first inning. A 2-for-4 ball game. 0-1 pitch to him and a swing and a miss. And a quick 0-2 count. Martinez 0 for 2. Darren O'Day has faced the Tigers for an inning, gave up just 1 hit in the series in Detroit. 0-2 delivery on the way. Got him. Wound that one in.
Yeah, he thought it was low. J.J. Mart. You can see how tall he is. He goes, I got taller knees than that. And a little breaking ball that he thinks is low. Strike zone's been down. That's one of the reasons everybody says, along with hard thrown relievers. And again, nicely presented to Eric Cooper by Caleb Joseph. My theory now is you put rings around your uniform where your knees are, because everybody wears the long pants, or you go to the high socks. So
it used to be that you had the socks, and so you knew where it was.
But, I mean, if you look at most of the players' pants, look how long. I mean, how they go all the way to your ankles.
This is going to be the first at bat for Alex Avila.
So how do you really know where the knees are sometimes, especially if you go to the blouse pants, blousier look? Put a ring around them. I'm not sure the umpires would like that, but it might work a little.
Nor MLB. 0-1 count. Shift is on. Avila's first at bat in the ball game came on as a defensive replacement. 0-1 delivery. Thought about it. Up high. They checked no. Tom Woodring, the umpire at third base, saying he did not go around on it. Oriole fans settling back in, just waiting, see if they can take that 1-run differential to the bottom half of the 9th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike count. O'Day's delivery to him, and that will miss outside. Count goes to 2-1.
Yeah, the amazing thing when you look at Darren O'Day, I mean, he's been so outstanding for the Orioles. 7-1, 5-3, 5-2, 5-1 this year. But if you didn't really look at the numbers, you would think he'd be a ground ball pitcher for the 5 years. More balls in the air than on the ground.
2-1 delivery on the way. Foul back into the screen. This game has been sort of sectioned into halves. The first half belonged to the Detroit offense. The second half has belonged to the Orioles offense. Davis Jones, a home run, is 16th. And Manny Machado getting the RBI and a ground ball out that made it a 1-run ball game. Coming in the 8th. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Day's delivery. A little bit inside. Count goes 3-2.
Yeah, good take by Alex Avila, and a little breaking ball. He's trying to hit the inside corner. Our pitch track will tell you that maybe if it got the corner, that ball maybe what? About a ball and a quarter inside.
3-2 count. strikeout.
It's not about velocity, 85, but it is about location and movement. Just runs this ball up and away and right on the corner. So in, away. And Alex can't catch up with it.
2 down, top of the 9th. McCann coming up, couple of singles, runs scored, 2 for 4 in the ball game for the catcher. Now 3 for 11 on the year against the Orioles. O'Day trying to finish it off here. Last 9 Tigers have been retired. Can a swing and a miss. Tigers got 7 runs through the first 4 innings of the ball game. The Orioles have scored 6 runs in the last 3 innings. 0-1 count. 5 charged to Gonzalez, the starter. Norris gave up 4. Hunter, nothing. O'Day, nothing so far. Not a chance on him that time. 0-2.
Yeah, he can really manipulate the baseball. Pitching so much feel, touch, and Darren O'Day does it as well as anybody.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Right where Caleb Joseph wanted. Outside. See if he'd go after it. A little too far out probably, O'Day, but didn't want to strike there. 1-2. Pitch to him will just miss. A little more tantalizing on that one. 2-2. 9 runs, 16 hits for the Tigers. The 8 runs, 9 hits for the Orioles. 2-2, 2 down, top of the 9th inning. O'Day's 2-2 delivery will be foul back.
Yeah, he's trying everything. Away, and then you can see the target right to the glove. That's trying to get James McCann maybe to swing through one up in the zone. Yeah, the one thing, if you are pitching, whether you're a reliever or a starter, and you're 1 back or tie games or whatever, you're going, where can I go where I can keep the ball in the ballpark and still make a quality pitch?
2 balls, 2 strikes still. O'Day's delivery to him. Popped it up. Down the line and right. Parmalee giving chase. Reaching. Oh, a nice catch! Chris Parmalee over the shoulder. Going away. Tigers in the 9th are retired in order. Outstanding defensive play by Chris Parmalee to end it. Buckle them up, O's fans. We're going to the bottom of the 9th inning. A 1-run differential.
Before the bottom of the 9th, O's twice in this game, now by 7. They have a chance to get back even.
Jones and Davis have lit this offense up with a couple of home runs, and guess who's coming up in the 9th? Down 1. Jones and Davis, they're right back.
So the Orioles need 1 to tie. They can walk it off with 2 and get a major uplifting win. Let's see how it turns out. We'll send you back upstairs and rejoin Gary and Jim.
So, everybody on the edge of their seats, including Jim and Rick for this one. Parmalee with that fine play made to end the inning. Anthony Gose has come on to play center field for Rajah Davis here in the bottom of the 9th inning. You look at this, contributions up and down the lineup.
Yeah, the big ones, the home run by Davis and Adam Jones got him back into the game, and then the leaders, the scope hits. I mean, Parmalee, you name it, even walks. Raimel, of course, walking in front of the home run by Jones.
A bit ironic that on the day they trade their closer, Joakim Soria, they end up in the 9th inning of a 1-run game. And for the moment, the closer is Alex Wilson, who does not have a save at the major league level. He did have 6 saves in the minors, pitching for the Red Sox with Pawtucket last year. He had 5 saves, and in 2012 he had 1.
Well, he was a second-round draft choice. You know he's got a good arm. 77th player out of Texas A&M, an Aggie.
Here is Adam Jones. Bottom of the 9th inning, and a swing and a foul ball for a strike.
So if he does get a save, it will be obviously more than just 3 outs.
And it'll be 1,000% as a save.
Exactly.
What a job the managers have had to do in this game, especially Osmus. He's used about everybody. He's made all the defensive replacements he can and gone through the bullpen 5 deep. Jones at Tapper. Second base Kinsler on a hop. Adam is retired.
Well, again, you come in and closing. It's a matter of making good pitches, and that was perfect. This guy's got, we saw this last year when he pitched against the Orioles. He's got outstanding stuff. Now, does he have experience? The answer is obviously no. As it turns out, he may be, other than now that Soria is no longer there, the guy that has pitched the best over the last 6 weeks.
Chris Davis coming up, contributing his 25th home run in the 6th inning. 2 RBIs off it. He's had a 4 RBI game. He got a bases loaded single in the 7th. And we'll take it for his strike.
Yes, Simon Alfredo really just one of those nights where they got him the early lead. The Orioles come back. The Jones home run, 3-1 fastball, had to throw a strike. Chris did miss it.
0-1 shift on. Davis will take it for a strike.
See, so there's the plus arm. Cutter, slider, 94. You know why they got Cespedes in the Porcello trade. Rick Porcello going from the Tigers on 15 games to the Red Sox. You know why they got Cespedes. He's already hit a 2-run home run, but kind of Alex Wilson, maybe not on the Tigers side, was kind of a throw-in. He got a chance to get his first save tonight.
28-year-old with the 0-2 delivery to Davis, and somehow he fouled it off. Almost ate up the top hand on that one. And an 0-2 count on Chris.
Well, you know where everybody wants to go. If you can go, you can see up and in. He gets it, maybe not up and in, but in. At 94. And the reason that's such a tough pitch to hit when you have a little bit of a uppercut swing is you got to hit the ball so far out in front of the plate.
0-2 count.
And once again, they're going to try to pound him in. Wow.
Attention getter.
Well, that is part of the game. You don't want to hit anybody in the head, but pitching in. For some guys, they get angry. Some guys get intimidated.
One and two. If Wilson tries to go away, and a timeout asked for by the catcher, McCann. We'll make sure what they want to throw right here. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Davis swing and a miss. There are 2 down.
A great pitch to Jones, and even better to Chris Davis, because he runs it under his chin and then throws him a hard slider cutter right under the strike zone.
2 down, bottom of the 9th inning. Amazingly, the starters are still the pitchers of record in this game. Gonzalez on the losing side Simon a chance for a win, and Wilson after his first major league save, but not done. Matt Wieters picked up a base hit, 7th inning, pinch hitting, stays in as the DH for Paredes. He got an RBI on that single. A 1-0 count. The Orioles 13-16 in one-run games. Detroit 16-15 in one-run ball games. 1-0. Delivery. Base hit. Wieters is on. So 2 for 2 in the ball game coming off the bench for the Orioles. Matt Wieters.
Well, they have to get 27 outs, and they're going to be denied. David Lowe's going to come in and pinch run. So now all of a sudden speed with 2 outs. Try run at first. Little cutter. Stays in the middle of the plate. Back up the middle. Kinsler can't get it.
So Wieters out of there, but with a base hit to keep it going with 2 down in the 9th inning. And here is Hardy. What a way to finish off his designer T-shirt night with the Gold Glove emblem. Do it the other side with a bat. He continued his hit streak to 13 with a single in the 6th inning.
And a lot of those T-shirts being waved out where they want him to hit it, which is in left center field.
Hardy 0 for 2 off Wilson.
Your outfield a couple of steps back because of the double capabilities, and Lowe can run. As you mentioned, I could not imagine he would steal a base here the way McCann can throw, and David better scoring from first on a double than stealing a base.
In the dirt, good stop made. McCann able to keep it out in front, and a 1-0 count. What a finish to a ball game that just did not look like it would end this way in the 9th inning. One way or the other to be decided. Orioles have overcome a 7-run deficit, including a 7-0 lead early in the ball game. 1-0, and that will miss outside. A 2-0 count. Hardy with a veteran patience. Such a tough situation.
Well, and this count allows you, because you really have 3 strikes to work with, to look for a ball in the inside half. You know, ball up out of the way. If you're looking that way, maybe a double up the gap. Lowe should be able to, with his speed, score. Inside half could be a walk-off.
Foul back over the screen. 2-1.
And then you got Alex Wilson saying, you know what, as long as I make quality pitches. Did it to Jones, did it to Chris Davis, I might get the out I need.
Two-one delivery on the way. Hardy takes it. Boy, did that tie him up. It catches the inside corner, and you could see JJ started and then froze.
Yeah, if he knew it was going to back up, and it's a backup slider, it just spins, but it does catch that inside corner, and he gives up on it.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, bottom of the 9th. Orioles down by 1 with a potential tying run on at first base. Hardy. Wilson's 2-2 delivery. He'll foul it back, stay alive. Everybody up.
Yeah,
standing.
James McGonn's gonna. He said, let's maybe think about not throwing another high slider.
AJ jumping on that one.
And that's what you want. Young catcher, young pitcher. Want to be on the same page if you can. Of course, J.J. Hardy wants to write a new chapter here with a walk-off home run, or maybe something up the middle, just keep the game going.
Two count, low off first base, pitch to Hardy, swung on, grounded towards the hole, play to Iglesias, and they get the out at second base for the ball game. So the Orioles in the 9th inning, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. Simon will get the win, 10-6. Gonzalez the loser, 9-7. Wilson gets his first major league save. And the Tigers come away with a 9-8 win in the first of 4. Game 2 will be tomorrow. It will be Wei-Yin Chen against Buck Farmer, Game 2. Our coverage on MASN 2 begins at 6:30. O's Extra, presented by Southwest, followed by our game coverage at 7. This has been a MASN presentation. O's Extra, presented by PNC, is coming up right now. Jim and Rick standing by for Jim Palmer and all of our crew. Thanks for being with us tonight. Tigers win it 9-8. I'm Gary Thorne. Adieu.